Is that what I'm going to read?
Nope. I'll take care of it. Here we go. Could y'all please stand with us? I made copies. Go ahead. Thank you all. That's Jensen Ruck. He is our mayor for the minute. We are the Board of Mayor and Aldermen for the city of Hendersonville, Tennessee. This is March 10th. It's real close to 7 o'clock. And again, that was Jensen Ruck. He is a 4th grader at Gene Brown Elementary School, and I appreciate him opening our meeting for us. We're going to follow this up with what we typically do, and that's with a prayer and a pledge. Providing our prayer tonight is Randy Compton. He is our chaplain for the Hendersonville Police Department. Randy, appreciate very much what you've been doing for a long, long time for the city, and happy birthday.
Well, thank you. Mayor and Alderman.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We also remember Mark Evans' mother.
Thank you.
Mark Evans' mother.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Mayor and Alderman, thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. Let's pray. Gracious Heavenly Father, we come tonight with grateful and thankful hearts. Grateful and thankful for your grace, mercy, and the many blessings you have provided. I, along with many in this room, are grateful for the opportunity to serve the Hendersonville of Tennessee, the city of Hendersonville, Tennessee. Father, please join us in this meeting tonight. Lord, let us not forget the request that was made tonight on behalf of Mark Evans' mother, and let us not forget those requests that are unspoken. Father, hold all of these a little closer and comfort them as only you can. Father, guide the minds and hearts of the board tonight. Grant the wisdom to understand the issues before them, the courage and integrity to make difficult choices, and the compassion to consider the needs of our community. As the Apostle Paul reminds us in Philippians 2, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interest, but each of you to the interest of the others. May this meeting and the words spoken tonight honor you and bring blessings to those we represent. May all that we do be pleasing to you, Father. It's in Jesus' holy name we pray. Amen.
Again, that's Randy Compton. He's our chaplain for Hendersonville Fire Department. Thank you, Randy. Appreciate that very much. Please join me and Mayor Ruck with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great job. You're done. Appreciate it. You can go back and sit down. Thank you. Everything good? We good? Next, I'll entertain a motion that we approve the agenda that was provided to you. We have a motion from Alderman Sassy and a second from Alderman Garza. I do need to bring attention to items 3 and 4 under ordinance and resolutions. Both of those we are waiving the 2-week rule. On one of those, on item 4, that was an item that was actually discussed in Public Works Committee meeting, but we did not have a resolution at the time. That was discussed 2 weeks ago in the Public Works Committee meeting. Any discussion, any motions regarding the agenda? Okay. Alderman Collins.
I would like to move number 3 to number 1, please.
Second. So we have a motion to move item number 3, which is a resolution honoring a former alderman and county commissioner, Joe Skidmore, up to the first item under ordinance and resolutions, and a second. We had Alderman Collins with the motion. Alderman Robertson, I believe, was with the second. Any discussion on that? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Any other discussion or any other motions regarding the agenda? Okay, so we've made one change, and that's remove item 3 up to item number 1. All those in favor of the agenda as it has been amended, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Next, we're on presentations from beautiful Hendersonville. Kathy Pascal, there you are. Super.
Thank you, Mayor and Alderman. It's good to see you tonight. Good to be here. And I'm here to tell you all about our Community Cleanup Day that we're going to have March the 28th. This is the first one that we do in the spring, and then we do another one in the fall. But this is the one that we work with the Sumner County Health Committee on, and Hendersonville will be leading the way. In Hendersonville, beautiful Hendersonville will lead the way, actually. And we will meet at City Hall. We have 3 time slots, 7 to 9, 8 to 10, and 9 to 11. And you can come and work as long as you want or as little as you need to. But we'd love for everyone to come out and help us clean up and make our city shine. So you can sign up by going to healthysumner.com. You can scan the QR code as well there that you see. But we'll also, beautiful Hendersonville will be going into the schools after spring break and talking to the 3rd graders about litter and teaching them about it, what it is and what it does and how they can prevent it and then how they can help clean it up and give them this opportunity to come out with their families on Saturday the 28th. So hope to see you all there. I'll mention too, I think we have most of the areas that we are going to be cleaning up already designated, but if you have any, don't hesitate to submit those because throughout the year I have students and others that need service hours, which they will be available for the cleanup, but that they come out during the year to get those, and so we send them to the locations that need to be cleaned up in the community. So thank you. Hope to see you there.
Kathy, thank you. This is a huge endeavor. It's getting bigger every year. Thank
It
you for
is.
coordinating.
Thank you.
We have no public hearings. Next, I'm going to entertain a motion to approve the minutes from our February 24th, 2026 meeting. We have a motion from Alderman Dixon and a second from, we have a motion from Alderman Goodwin, a second from Alderman Dixon. Any discussion on that? All those in favor of approving the minutes from our February 24th, 2026 BOMA meeting as they were provided to you in your packet, please say aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Thank you. We have an abstention from Alderman Martin. Okay. Next, we have citizen comments, which we have nobody who signed up for that, followed by ordinance and resolutions. So the first item we have, since our agenda was amended, is reading of Resolution 2026-08, a resolution honoring former Alderman and County Commissioner Josephine "Joe" Skidmore for her distinguished and dedicated public services to citizens of Hendersonville and Sumner County. I need a motion, please. We have a motion from Alderman Goodwin and a second from Alderman Garza. Alderman Robertson.
I would like to maybe go out of order and allow anyone in the audience that would like to make remarks. Maybe you had planned to do that anyway, but we have several officials here and ex-aldermen, so I think it would be good to give them an opportunity to express themselves.
Alderman Robertson, that sounds very suspiciously like a motion to suspend our rules.
I do.
So without objection, we will suspend our rules, and we will give whoever would like to speak on Joe Skidmore. Feel free. And the first one looks like he's going to definitely carry some authority when he does speak.
Hello, my name is Merrill Hyde. I think jokingly some people were talking earlier about people who were former students of mine, and I will say that when you're as old as I am, there are a number of people who are former students, including Don here. But to my amazement, lately, someone that I ran into identified himself as a former student and said, on my next birthday, I'll be 72. That was not very pleasant. But I'm here tonight to really talk about something of a more serious nature, and that is the honoring of someone who was a good friend of mine, Joe Skidmore. I had the distinct pleasure in 1970 to be appointed as the principal of Lakeside Park Elementary School. And in that day and time, we had to find our own substitutes. There was nothing automated at the central office at all in that regard. I recruited Joe to be a substitute teacher at Lakeside Park. I can tell you that the kids absolutely loved Joe Skidmore because of her nature, her disposition, and her love of others, and especially her love of children. I quickly found that I had a real problem with Joe being a substitute because she was such a good substitute. There was not enough of Joe to go around for all of the vacancies that I had, because as many of you know, in that day and time, Lakeside Park had 1,500 students on a morning and evening shift, 2 schools in one building. And there just was not enough of Joe to go around for everyone that wanted Joe as a substitute. When she walked into the classroom, the kids were delighted to see her because they loved her and she loved them. And she carried on not only in a matter of discipline as a regular teacher would, but she carried on the lesson plans and was just a wonderful, wonderful substitute. Later on, I got to sit with Joe on the county commission. And let me tell you, she has a servant's heart. I could talk to her about any number of things, and so could any other commissioner. But whatever the issue happened to be, or whatever we wanted Joe support on, it was always within the guardrails of if it's best for my constituents. If I heard that once, I heard it 10,000 times. And she meant it. It was not just talking. She was very serious. She certainly had a servant's heart. And I just want to say tonight, I was so happy to hear that you might be honoring Joe. I would not pass up the opportunity of saying she is a wonderful lady, and I enjoyed knowing her so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hyde.
I'm here to share a funny memory of Joe Skidmore, and I believe Alderman Skidmore has heard this before. For several years, I was in elections. And I worked for the elections at Gene Brown Elementary School, and I have served as a registrar and a judge operator. And this year, I had made it to the assistant officer of elections for Gene Brown. And it was the August election, and around 10 or 11 o'clock, in walks Joe Skidmore, dressed to kill, in her white suit with the red top and the high heels and the red lipstick and her hair all put up and fabulous. And she's, "Hello, everybody. Don't forget that Mark's going to be on the ballot in November." But this was right after the driver's license had come in, and we were checking IDs and using the computers, and I was stationed at the door, and I was like, oh no, we can't have this, we can't have this. So I get on the phone and I call the coordinator of elections, and I'm like, "Hey, we have a problem. Joe Skidmore's here," and she's campaigning for Mark for the election in November. And, what am I supposed to do? She said, "Well, you're going to have to tell her she's got to leave." And I said, "Oh, no, ma'am. I'm not telling Joe Skidmore she's got to leave. She owns this ward. There is no way I'm telling her that she has to leave." And she said, "Well, I'm not going to tell her." And I said, "Well, what are we going to do?" He goes, "Well, let me call Mark." And she stayed for about an hour. And the thing that I noticed about Joe that was so fabulous about her, she knew everyone. Everybody that came in, she either shook their hand or gave them a hug or talked about their children or the good old days, and she was just fabulous. Mark Skidmore, your mama was fabulous, and she loved Hendersonville, and she loved Sumner County. She loved everything about it, even when she was mad at it. She loved it. She was a lady for all times. And I am so thankful that she came that day, and I got to spend that hour with your mama. I love Joe Skidmore, and I will be forever grateful for all of the things that she has done for the city of Hendersonville and Sumner County, and to that end, the state of Tennessee. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Bergdorf.
wasn't planning on speaking. I don't have anything prepared, but honorable mayor and board of aldermen, it's good to be with you tonight and to honor Joe. I haven't been back in this building in 8 years, Jamie, and growing up in Hendersonville, Merrill, Jamie may have been a baby, but I wasn't even around in 1970. But I met Joe in 2010, but I sure did know about her growing up. In this town, everybody pretty much knew who the mayor of the city was, but there was this board out there that did something. And like many of y'all, people don't know who we were when we were serving on the board of mayor and aldermen, but we knew who the Skidmores were. Since I was a kid. A lot of folks had their opinions about Joe and Mark Skidmore, and my parents included. I was looking back the other day, found an old guide from the Little League World Series. We hosted it. I was 12 years. I'm 48 now. We're talking 16 years ago when I ran for alderman in 2010. But it was the state Little League, whatever it was, Dixie Youth, whatever we had down there. We hosted it. That's the only reason Hendersonville All-Stars got to go, because the host school, host city got to host it, because Goodlettsville would have taken us out probably pretty easily. But anyway, and I was just looking through it and looking at the advertisers and the local things, and there was a picture of the board of mayor and aldermen on there. And I was looking at the names, these folks and I know who they are now when I served, but the vice mayor at that time was Joe Skidmore. She was vice mayor back then. And when I got into politics, 2010, as Arlene knows and Jamie probably knows, excuse me, Mr. Mayor, I didn't know what I was doing. And I just decided to run for office. And I met the Skidmores along the way. And Mark and I became just almost like brothers during our time together. And your mom, you kind of mentored me. She was kind of a mentor towards me, and took me in, just loved on me, and I'm so grateful. But when I think of public service in our county, there's a few people in this room that come to my mind. Mayor Clary comes to my mind, Mark Skidmore comes to my mind, Merrill Hyde comes to my mind. People that have dedicated their lives to making this city and this county a better place. I was very honored to serve on this board for 8 years, and I'm very thankful for each of you that are doing what you're doing. Eddie's in my seat that I sat in many years ago. He took over and has done a fine job. But Joe was always about what Merrill said. Just what the people I represent. She was all about making the city a better place, and I just came to love her, and I love her son Mark, and I appreciate what you do, and we're known a lot for our legacies and kind of what we leave behind, and the fact that her son has served so many years, just like she did, says a lot about her, instilling that love of community, love of service, because as you know, it's a thankless job a lot of times, and she gave so much of her life to this county, to this city, and so I'm very thankful for her. I'm thankful for each of you.
Thank you, Matt.
Hi, everybody. I'm Arlene Cunningham, and I sat in Bob Garza's seat at one time for a couple of years. First, Joe and Mark together were my county commissioners. Well, Joe was my county commissioner, and she was my alderman for many years. And Mark also, we're all in the same ward, in Ward 3. When I moved here to Hendersonville in 1995, I didn't even know what a ward was. But Joe was there for us during the growth of Mansker Farms. We had some hiccups that we had to go through. And that little woman, she'd come just trotting through, and she'd go, "Hell, they don't need to be doing that." She was hilarious. And I said, well, this woman has a little bit of northern in her. And she's not afraid to speak up. And she was always there for us and always spoke up for us. And she had a servant's heart, and she was always respectful. Even though she was, a little bit, feisty there. She was a bit feisty. But she was always there, and she was always spoke from her heart and was willing to serve and was willing to stand up and represent us with integrity and honesty and what we wanted to do. So, Mark, we're going to miss her, but she served us well and she left a legacy. And that's all we want to do. You know, that's all we try to aim to do. And I want to thank all of you for listening and for honoring Joe. And thank you for your service. And it could be a difficult job sometimes. And you're going to turn some heads and make some people mad and make some people happy. So, but thank you.
Thank you, Arlene.
Good evening, Board of Mayor and Aldermen. I too am here to honor Mrs. Skidmore. She was my alderman and my county commissioner, and such a classy lady. Whenever I would call her and I would say, Mrs. Skidmore, and she would say, oh, just call me Joe. I could not do that. I mean, she was one of a kind, and everything that you've heard here tonight, servant's heart, love of Hendersonville, love of the county, strong lady, feisty. You know, that woman is a legacy to our city, and she poured her heart and soul into everything that she did for our city. And Mark, we love you, and we're so sorry about the loss of your mama, but she is looking down on you, and she's so proud of you. And she is. And thank you all for your service and for having this resolution to honor this legacy in our city. Thank you all.
Thank you, Peg.
Board of Mayor and Aldermen, my name is Steve Brown. I think most of you know me, and I'm glad to know you. I hadn't planned on saying a lot tonight, Mark. They've said it all. Your mom was a servant not only to this community but to this county and the general area. I remember when I came on the board, your mother was on the board, you were on the board. And when you were a rookie alderman, some of you have been rookies before, you ask around a little bit about, you know, who to pay attention to and who to listen to and who not listen to. And I was told 2 or 3 times, Joe Skidmore. She'll say what she means, and she means exactly what she says, and she'll stand her ground on it. I saw that over the years that I was on the same time that she was. And the word constituents, I've heard her say that many times. I want to do what my constituents want. It might be against everybody else on the board, but she wanted to do what her constituents want. Called your mother a couple times for advice. I would never break the Sunshine Law. That was some other time. But I called her for advice. She was willing to give that advice. And, you know, that's, I respect that because you don't have to. She was willing to help somebody that was new learn something. So be proud. You are proud. I appreciate your service. Appreciate you bringing this resolution forward. Great lady, great legacy, and thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Steve.
Shake your hand.
Appreciate all of y'all. We have a resolution honoring former Alderman and County Commissioner Josephine Joe Skidmore for her distinguished and dedicated public service to the citizens of Hendersonville and Sumner County. Whereas public service is among the highest callings, requiring integrity, commitment, and a genuine desire to improve the lives of others. Whereas Josephine Joe Skidmore faithfully fulfilled such a calling, serving the citizens of Hendersonville as a city alderman for 18 years, during the years 1986 to 1992 and 1996 to 2008, while demonstrating steadfast leadership, sound judgment, integrity, and an unwavering dedication to the growth and well-being of the community and its citizens. Whereas in addition to her service to city government, Joe Skidmore devoted 20 years to serving Hendersonville and county residents as a Sumner County Commissioner from 1994 to 2014, working diligently to represent and promote their interests. Whereas throughout Joe Skidmore's tenure in public office, she was a consistent advocate for strong neighborhoods, fiscal responsibility, improving the city's infrastructure, promoting responsible governance, and quality of life for the citizens she represented. Whereas a lifelong community servant, Joe Skidmore proudly and tirelessly worked for city and county citizens with genuine humility, steadfast devotion to service, wisdom, and grace. Whereas she devoted countless hours to public meetings, committee work, community engagement, and collaboration with city and county officials for the betterment of the city of Hendersonville and Sumner County. Whereas Joe Skidmore was known for her preparation, professionalism, and leadership that helped shape the continued progress and success of the city of Hendersonville and Sumner County for the benefit of all residents. Whereas Joe Skidmore's legacy of service reflects a deep love for her community and a commitment to public trust that will have a lasting impact for generations to come and serve as an enduring example of integrity, perseverance, and heartfelt commitment to her community. And whereas it is both fitting and proper that the governing body formally recognize and express its profound gratitude for Joe Skidmore's many years of faithful, honorable, and devoted public service. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen of the City of Hendersonville, Tennessee, that the City of Hendersonville hereby recognizes and honors Joe Skidmore for her 18 years of distinguished service as City Alderman and her 20 years of dedicated service as a Sumner County Commissioner, during which her steadfast leadership and sound judgment helped foster responsible governance, stability, and sustained growth and prosperity for the citizens she so faithfully represented. Be it further resolved that the Board of Mayor and Aldermen and the people of Hendersonville express their sincere appreciation for Joe Skidmore's enduring contributions and personal devotion to public service, and recognize her lasting commitment to the continuation and preservation of the expected lifestyle and character of Hendersonville, a legacy that will continue to inspire and guide future generations. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution shall be spread upon the official minutes of the City of Hendersonville, and a copy shall be presented to her family as an expression of the city's respect and appreciation for Joe Skidmore, and sympathy on the loss of a truly dedicated and distinguished public service. Alderman Skidmore, would you like to speak?
Yeah, I would. Thank you, guys. I miss my mother. She was a firecracker, I'll tell you that much. And she loved this city. And she really did. I could tell you stories that would amaze you. I mean, I'm sorry. She's looking down on, she's probably cussing me. Because she goes, why weren't you at a loss for words when I was on the board with you? I'm sure Mom is, but she was a good mom. She really, truly was. She grew up in a man's world, and for the older folks, you know what I mean by, in a man's world and for women. I have much respect for Mom for that, and I have a lot of respect for women because of that, because it's hard. Dad was in Vietnam, and she was raising 3 children, and also being a substitute teacher. I think for what, at that time, in those years, it was like $12 a day. And, but, she loved teaching with school and doing those things. She really did. And she loved her children. She really did. I always said that I was, in the, what I'm talking about. Some people say that, well, I was the mistake of the family, and I would always tell Mom, even when I was little, I was the oops baby, and she said, no, you were the blessing of the family, and that made me feel good. When I look back now, back then I didn't really care. Well, I was just glad to be alive, and but she really was no matter, when we became aldermen in Hendersonville, and any alderman and you all or any elected official knows you get to hear so many things that are just not true, and I was in my 20s when I was first elected, and Mom said, I'll never forget it, because it was in '87, because she took office in '86. And I've got a picture of, well, Mom had the picture, and I had forgotten about it. But when I was cleaning out her bedroom, she had the picture from the Star News of us on the front page, and she looked happy. And I remember that night because it was at the old Star News there, and we were standing, and heck, I didn't really know anything at some young kid, I just know that we had won, and she hugged me and she whispered these words to me, and I think about them so much, and it really came to roost to me when I saw that picture. She said, "Well, welcome." And I remember looking at her, and people were, you know how it works when you're in office, they cheer and stuff like that, whether they like you or not. When you win, you swore you would have won by 3,000 votes, and and I'm still grateful for that. That type of feeling, that people respect you enough to cheer for you and congratulate you, whether they like you or not. I've always tried to be humble about stuff like that. But she told me, she whispered to me, and she looked at me, and she had tears in her eyes. And she said, "Your life is no longer your own." And I really didn't know what she meant by that. And God rest his soul, wherever it is now, Harry Frith was there. And he said, I stepped off the podium, and he said, "You better listen to your mama, because you just wait." And it turned out to be true, because half the stuff that my family has gone through, or heard about us, we would either be in the federal penitentiary or in jail by now. And so my mom, she and I believed about the Sunshine Law. We don't believe in it, and I still break it every chance I get. And I don't mind saying it. And believe me, and you guys know she did, she'd break it too. She didn't care. If she believed in something, as Jamie, I think Mayor Clary, myself, I think that's the only ones that were, I think we all served with Mother. And she was like that. She was a firecracker, and she got mad. She was like me. I mean, I have to admit, because I get mad, but not the way she did. She'd just tell you like she saw it, where the bear went. But I just want to say thank you again. And I know I'm rambling. I just miss her so much. I really do. People, I'll just say this on a real serious note about our private lives. I've always tried to keep my private life private, and she did too. And my brother, who passed away, and my sister, who passed away, we were all private. But when Ken died, we were kind of in the public light, because a lot of people don't realize what my father did before he went back to Vietnam. He represented the city, the fire and the police department, and he was sort of like a city administrator. A lot of people don't know that. But that was back when Hendersonville was just a spot on the road, And but when he decided to go back, and his heart led him to be with his squadron. I think back then in the 70s he was a lieutenant colonel, and then they promoted him to full bird colonel. His heart was to his men and in public service, but I understood when he passed away at Eglin Air Force Base in Florida. it's not that I expected it, but Dad always sat us down before he left to go back to Vietnam. You know, I may not come back, you know, because he was a military man all the way. And we always understood that. And Mom was always stood up proud about that. You know, she hung with him. We all did. But there's just something about, you know, that's your mother, and she did a lot for the city and the county, and I'll always be proud of that. And I'll think about her and my whole family who's gone now. I think about them every day, man. I cannot express to you, but I'm like no other person that has had someone pass away in their family. You think about them every day, and you know, I'm not special for that. But just remember this evening when you go home, you hug your family. And I can't emphasize that enough, and I'm just so grateful that I had the time that I had with Joe Skidmore, because I learned a great deal from that. And I think that's the reason why God made mothers, is because God couldn't be there all the time, so he made moms. And you should love your mother, and you should love your family, and just be so thankful that you have them, because when they're gone, the only time you're going to see them is when you go, and they'll be there. When you go to heaven, they'll be there waiting for you. And it's just important, if I can tell you how important it is to love your family, because even when you've done something bad, Mom she'd get on me, boy would she, even on a vote. I could tell you stories about not having supper sometimes because of my votes. And she'd say, well, you're not getting any supper tonight? And I'd go, Mom, come on, you're my mother. This is not Alderman stuff. And then she would laugh, and then she would fix me something, but she would say stuff like that. Because, I will say this is really funny, and I can't, God, it's been, and then I'll close, because I know we've got an agenda tonight, and we've got to take care of it. But this was about the beer sales on Sunday in the city of Hendersonville. And this is back probably in I want to say it was either in the late 80s or early 90s, and I can't remember. So all these people had come up to City Hall at the podium, and she and I had drag out fights, because she was for beer selling. You know, she was adamant about it. And believe it or not, I was against it. And so we were voting and sparring with each other and so I was telling her why, and you know, I always tried to respect my mother, and I would call her Joe because I had to, or Miss Skidmore, and I'd go, and then we were going back and forth, and this is the old building, Shannon House there behind McDonald's, and I just said, Mama, and I stopped myself, and everybody in the whole place started laughing, because they knew, you know, that we were mother and son. And she said, she goes, that's okay, son, like that. And I smiled, but so the vote went down. So people started coming to Mom saying, well, thank you for not supporting. And she said, honey, you need to talk to him. And they all looked at her, because she was older than I was, and I was in my 20s at the time. And I said, no, I was the one who did it, you know, and so they all went over, and I guess it's one of those things that you had to be there. But it was funny, because then they all just moved away from Mom, and she didn't care. I mean, she goes, it's my vote. I do what, you know, it's what my people are telling me. What are your people telling you? And I said, they're telling me not to vote for it. So she said, well, you must not be talking to our ward. Our ward was Ward 3 at that time, Arlene. So, yeah, so I don't know, but, and then I'll close with this. This is probably one of the funniest stories. I've got so many funny stories on Mother, but this always makes me feel good. We were getting death threats one year. And so my mom, like I'm still young and I'm scared. And, because I heard the guy and I heard him say, Mom, she's like, whatever. And so she put him on speakerphone and she said, where are you from? And he said, I remember the guy straight up. And, Chief Key was our police chief at the time. And he said, do you all need any escorts to go home? And of course, Mom said, and forgive me, Mayor, she said, hell no. She said, I've got something in my purse that'll take care of him if he. And I'm going, Mom, and she said, well, I do. And I said, okay. So then she said, the guy said, that he, be careful what you're doing because I'm going to shoot you. And she goes, honey, go get your gun and come right on over and I'll leave the front door open. I swear to God, she said that. And I looked at her and I said, I'm not going to be here. And she said, well, I don't care whether you are here, but I'm going to leave that door open for him to come through the house and then I'm going to blast him. But he didn't. It was just a threat like, we normally get. But that was in the years of Hendersonville. A lot of people, Jamie probably knows it because he was involved in the mayor. I don't think in the city at that time, but I don't think any of you guys were. But it was a very turmoil at the time. It was during the Osbrooks administration, the mayor at that time, and there just was a lot of difficulty going on. I'm not going to tell you all the stuff that was going on, but it was just a lot of difficult times. But she was always a proud person, and I know she loved you guys. I will tell you that. She was so proud of. I could just go down. She loved Steve, and that was it. And she would say, "Why can't you be like Steve?" Sometimes, and I would go like, "Because I'm me." And so she'd go, "All right." Yeah, that's what she did. And she loved Peg. I remember when we had to appoint Peg the first time, and Mom said, "You better vote for her." And I said, "Well, I'm going to nominate her because I think she would do a good job." And then Matt, she kind of looked at you as like a son, really. She took you under her wing kind of thing. And she loved the Cunninghams, Arlene and both your husband too. And it was always a joy to campaign because we would come over to your house and we would stay there for hours sometimes. You remember those days? Yes. And we would because it was just such a joy. Miss Bergdorf, she thought you were a hoot. She did. She said, "Oh, I'm just so glad that she's running for the county." And she goes, and I said, "Well, yeah, I'm helping her. I'm going to go." And that's when I was sick with my heart. And I said, "I'm going to go door to door." And she says, "Well, I'm going to pull out my old book and start calling people." Because we always, the old days, Mama always had a book of an election time, and she'd pull it out. And then Mr. Hyde, you were a blessing to our family and I usually don't talk like this, but we needed you. And I appreciate it. I could sit here and tell you thank you for all those years, but she enjoyed what she did. And I thank this board. You just think God sent you to her. And I'm just so appreciative of it, Meryl. Mr. Hyde, rather, I'm sorry. Because she always told me to call you Mr. Hyde. And I've done that. I've lived up to that. But in closing, I want to say thank you, board, for giving this Mama this honor. I know she's looking down on us, and I know she cares about everyone on this board because regardless of whether you fought, whether it's sort of like me, when you fight with me, I'll step down off this when we get in a fight about something up here, and I'll go have a cup of coffee with you, because I leave it up here. And she kind of did the same thing. And I'll just leave it at that. But she could go and have coffee, and you could talk reason with her. And I appreciate how that's strong, how she was. And so thank you, guys, and thank you so much for this. Mark, thank you. And Mary Claire, thank you so much. This means a great deal to me on a personal level, because I've served a long time on this board. And I don't think that I've ever changed. My heart has always tried to be in the right place. And I know Mama's was, because she'd talk all day on the phone with constituents. I mean, she's just that way. That was Joe. That was Mama. And but thank you, Mayor. And I just want people to know, go home and hug your people. I just miss Mom so much.
Alderman Skidmore, thank you. We appreciate that. Without
Thank you.
objection, we're going to add everybody's name as a co-sponsor.
Yes, sir.
All those in favor of Resolution 2026-08, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, go ahead. Alderman Sassy.
Thank you. I won't take up too much time. And I appreciate you allowing everyone to be included on that. And I would actually encourage that we be able to sign it as well, because I know that this is a copy of this is going, but I'm going to leave that up to the administration there. One thing I wanted to add to it, I'm going to make an amendment to this. Joe was such a meaningful person to this community, as we've all heard, and I'm not going to go down that road again, but I want to add, if I could, another be it there further resolved, that the chambers at the city of Hendersonville will be renamed the Josephine Joe Skidmore Memorial City Chambers. And I know that we have certain procedures. We have a facilities naming committee, but the chairman of that facilities naming committee is our very own Mark Skidmore. So I think it makes sense for this board as a group to come together and support this, so we can rename these chambers and so she can have a lasting legacy in this city. And I so move.
I appreciate Alderman Sassy. Our city attorney tells us that we'd have to do that with ordinance, but you could add that in here so we could encourage the board to do that as part of the resolution.
Yes, please.
Okay, do we have a second to that? Second. Okay, we have a second from Alderman Martin. All those in favor of that amendment, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Now we're back on the main vote. For all those in favor of Resolution 2026-08, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passed unanimously. Alderman Skidmore, thank you so much for your service.
Thank you very much. And my mom,
Next, we have Resolution 2026-02. This is a resolution to apply for local parks and recreational fund grant for various projects in the city's park. Alderman Garten, will you make a motion? We have a motion from Alderman Garten and a second from Alderman Martin. Alderman Robertson, go ahead.
Tamara, would you please come? Could you turn to page 12 in our notebook? That's the worksheet on the, I see for the revenue side of the PIP fund, and I'm for this resolution, I just have a few clarifying questions. The revenue, we have 7.5 estimated revenue for 2026, correct?
That's what's budgeted. We're looking like we're going to come in probably closer to 8 million. So
Okay.
our revenues will be coming in a little bit high.
Good. And the grant, the 1750, is that the grant for what we're voting on tonight? The 17,
Yes,
1.75 million.
yes, that would be the grant revenue. That's half of the project cost.
So how long does it take to get the money from the grant?
The reimbursements for this grant program are very quick. We submit a reimbursement every month, and usually within 60 days of submittal, we receive the funds.
So you believe that we'll be able to receive all of that 1.75 million during 2026?
This is for, it would be in 2027's budget.
Okay, so we should get it all in 2027?
As long as we spend the money in 2027, we should receive the funds in 2027.
I was just afraid because I know how the grants work. I mean, we're still waiting on, like the Heritage, we haven't started that program yet, so we haven't received our portion of that.
So that one, we've spent, to date, just over 400,000 on the design work, and we have received about 360,000 in the revenues. We just got a check today for almost 150,000.
Okay, so as these monies come back from the state, from these grants, where will they be dedicated to?
If this new LPRF grant is funded out of the PIP funds, when the revenues come in, they would go back into the PIP fund.
Okay, I just wanted that for the record, that they will go back into the PIP fund and not the general fund.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, that's all.
Alderman Robertson, thank you. Any other discussion, any other questions? All those in favor of Resolution 2026-02, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Now we're on Resolution 2026-07. This is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement for inline hockey supply vending machine in Volunteer Park at Arrowhead. Alderman Garten, would you like to make a motion again? So moved from Alderman Garten, and a second from Alderman Garza. Any discussion? All those in favor of Resolution 2026-07, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Thank you all. Now we're on first reading of Ordinance 2026-05. This is an ordinance formally requesting the Director of the Sumner Emergency Communications District to officially name a certain roadway as Riverwood Drive that is located in the city of Hendersonville, Tennessee, south of Sterling Road, south of Cumberland Drive, and continuing south to the current Riverwood Drive. Need a motion, please. We have a motion from Alderman Skidmore. And a second from Alderman Dixon. Any discussion? Alderman Sassy, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. As I understand it, this road is just requesting this change for emergency purposes. Is that correct?
Alderman Skidmore, you want to take that? Y'all discussed it pretty.
Yeah, yes, sir, we did. Thank you, Mayor. It's actually not only for emergency purposes, but it's also for the post office box, or for the mail, because people were getting mail from all over, down there on that street. So 911 had it kind of worked out already because of just the emergency aspect of it, even though it wasn't, has not been changed. But primarily, this is for future development growth down there, because there is a couple of houses that are probably going to be built down there, but for mailing as well. That's the real crux of it. So, and it needed to be done, because it is quite confusing when you drive down there. Because I've walked it and I've driven it many times, and it is confusing.
Alderman Sassy?
Yeah. So, will we be maintaining that road, Chairman Skidmore?
No, sir. We're not maintaining. The road is not maintained by the city. And I'm not sure that, actually, if you drive down there, I'm not sure that it ever will be. Probably eventually, but we'll be way gone from this board when that happens.
And it's just a dead-end street,
Yes.
correct? Okay.
Also, this was requested by, this wasn't the city requesting this. This was requested by homeowners down there.
Yeah. And I appreciate you inviting me to that meeting, and I
Yes.
heard from the homeowners there as well. And to them, it didn't really matter what the name was, as long as they had a name, right?
Right, yeah.
So because this road's not going to be maintained by the road, I want to propose that we, instead of Riverwood Drive, which is the road that is maintained by the city across the way, that we just change it to Riverwood Way. So it distinguishes it from that other road, which is maintained by the city, and this road that is now being given a name is not maintained by the city, and it kind of builds that separation out. So I so move.
We have a motion. We have a second from Alderman Bergdorf. Any discussion on this? Go ahead. Lance. Okay. We're going to hear from our city attorney.
No,
Oh, I'm sorry. Does that matter to you? Okay. Well, I'm going to ask you a question. And Jesse, this might be for you too, and maybe Stephen. I know we've had conversations, or some of the residents have had conversations with the ECC director. They were okay. Did we discuss Riverwood Drive with them? Specifically Drive? Who wants to take that?
I'll take it.
Okay.
Oh, I was gonna say.
Or Alderman Skidmore.
Alderman Skidmore, you do it?
I've had
I was just gonna say that, and I apologize if, our city attorney Ray, if you've got something other than this, but I think the underlying thing is they wanted to maintain it to be Riverwood Drive, instead of having, have it be a separate, street, because they just wanted, that was better for them if they kept it that way on the E911 and also the post office. So, but I appreciate what Alderman Sassy is saying, and if, but I think they really wanted to keep it Riverwood Drive on that. Lance, and that, you were there too, isn't that what you felt too?
That is correct, and that's what shows up on some maps, GIS in particular, and I did have a conversation with Director Guthrie at E911, and that was the consensus also.
Yes, sir. Okay, thank you.
Well, then I'll withdraw my motion.
So, who made the second? Alderman Bergdorf, do you want to withdraw your second? Okay, appreciate that. Any other discussion on this item? All those in favor of ordinance 2026-05 on first reading, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Thank you all. Now we're on second reading ordinance 2026-01. This is an ordinance amending the Hendersonville Municipal Code, repealing and replacing Title IV, Municipal Personnel, amending Section 2-101, appointing members to various boards and commissions, and to adopt a revised edition of the personnel rules and regulations. I need a motion, please. We have a motion from Alderman Goodwin and a second from Alderman Garten. Alderman Collins, go ahead.
This time, I am organized by chapter, and I would appreciate it if we could move through it in that fashion as we did last time, except this time I'm ready for it. Thank you.
So, Alderman Collins, do you just want me to start turning pages, or do you want me to pass out what you provided? Oh, you did? Okay,
Yeah.
super. Okay, so does everybody have, she emailed it, I believe, to everybody yesterday. It came yesterday, and I think then another copy today, and it's 2 sheets of paper, 4 pages stapled together. But I do think it's a good idea that we go through the same way we did last time.
Mm-hmm.
If I can get to. Okay. So let's go to page 34. This is chapter 1. Any discussion or motions regarding chapter 1? Page 35 begins chapter 2. Alderman Collins.
I just want to point out that city administrator, at the number 4 under definitions, city administrator shall mean the city administrator or the chief of operations for the city of Hendersonville, which my understanding is that's the same person, correct?
That's going to be a Lance question.
It is the same person. The board passed a previous ordinance where all references to city administrator means city chief of operations. But yeah, that is the same person.
Okay.
Unless
It's in the definition.
It's in the
Yes.
definitions. I just wanted to point that out because I think that was a cause of some confusion on the first reading.
So, turning pages. Chapter 3 is on the bottom of page 38. I doubt there are any changes to that. Are you still at chapter 2? Okay. Alderman Goodwin?
I did an amendment last time on page 36 under 4-202 for D, that wasn't in this version. It should be after consideration with department heads.
Is it in the history?
Is it in the history?
Okay, hold on, Tim. It is, oh, it's on the history, okay.
Okay. Gotcha,
So
no
Tamara-
problem.
So Tamara's saying it will be incorporated in the main document
That's it.
once we pass it.
And then I have a question
Go ahead, Alderman Goodwin.
on page 37, number E, at the top.
Okay.
Will that be done using the pay study?
Prepare and recommend to the city administrator a pay plan for all city employees. This time, yes, but not necessarily every year. Because we only do a pay study at most every 4 years or when the board votes to
Okay.
fund one. Is that's correct, okay. Okay.
And under number K, will department heads contribute to that?
Oh, yes. Yes, that's part of, that's the very beginning of our budget process.
Okay,
Yep.
all right. And then on page 38,
Okay.
number N,
Okay.
do department heads have input on that as well, or is that all the COO? Promotional policies and
Yeah.
procedures?
It's a longer explanation. So-
Yeah, I don't think we identified the exact process for how everything works, but in practice, the process is we get feedback from department heads, especially
That's-
when it comes to promotions
That's,
and
yeah,
advancements.
you're good.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
that's it for that section.
Okay. Alderman Collins on chapter 2?
Yes.
Okay, go
On
ahead.
page 36,
Okay.
4-202 administration. And this is part of what I handed out under C. The only thing is, even though I did the document, I did make a mistake. On C, I wanted to appoint, and it should mark out remove, suspend, and discipline all employees, and then add except department heads. And then at the end, my sentence, which I put in red for you guys to add, the city administrator shall be able to remove, suspend, and discipline all city employees. So the point is that BOMA continues to appoint department heads. Also, I'd like to add an F under that. Notification of actions taken outside of policy will be provided to the board and mayor and aldermen after the action has occurred, except where state or federal law prohibits it. That's my motion.
So we've got a motion.
So you're adding an F,
Yes, ma'am.
and you are changing C, just those two words. I mean, adding except department heads.
And then,
This, okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
Do we have a second? Okay, we have a second from Alderman Martin. Just a second, Alderman, I'm sorry, just a second, Alderman Dixon. Alderman Collins, can you explain what you did to C, because it's,
Of
you're
course.
changing the change, is that right?
I am changing the change.
Okay.
Because I messed it up.
Okay.
In my Word document. So appoint, and then the document I sent you, I failed to cross out remove. But I
Okay.
would like to cross out remove.
Okay.
Suspend and discipline.
Okay.
Just eliminate those. All employees except department heads. And then continue with the language such that this board still appoints department heads like we do now. And then add basically all of that back in except for the appointment. So the last sentence would be the city administrator shall be able to remove, suspend, and discipline all city employees.
Gotcha. Does anybody need a clarification there? Okay. One more time,
Okay.
Alderman Collins.
Under C, appoint remains, strike through, remove, suspend, and discipline. And then we're back to the text, all employees, add, except department heads. And then add a sentence at the end to say the city administrator shall be able to remove, suspend, and discipline all city employees.
So, I'm going to come to you, Alderman Dixon. Lance, I should have asked this already. Is it our charter that requires the mayor to nominate department heads and the board to ratify that?
It's the mayor has the authority to employ, promote, discipline, suspend, and discharge all employees and department heads in accordance with personnel policies and procedures.
And that's in the charter?
It's in the charter, and that's, our charter is state law.
Okay.
Okay, then this document would therefore conflict with our charter because on page 36, number 6 under definitions, employee shall mean any individual employed by the city of Hendersonville except other than such an individual excluding elected officials, appointed committee, commission, and board members, policy-making appointees, legal advocates, volunteers, independent contractors, and inmate workers. So we did not include department heads in that. So if we're saying all employees, that would conflict with our charter, and so we need to change it.
Where's that? On
So she's on 36.6.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Under definitions. I see your point, Alderman Collins. So where I'm going is that in the initial verbiage that we had, Alderman Collins, it says, is set forth in this chapter provisions of the charter. So it recognizes that the provisions of the charter exist. When you add except department heads, I feel like that is opposed to the provisions of the charter. So that's why I'm having a hard time. But you still make a good point.
It's opposed? How so? Isn't that exactly what the charter says?
Except departments of the city. Maybe. If we accepted your change, we would not need to add department heads under 6. Am I correct? Under the definitions.
That's correct. I'm not proposing to add that.
Yeah, and I don't think you're really changing a whole heck of a lot as long as we leave comma provisions under the provisions of the charter.
Then the document conflicts the charter.
Where does it conflict here? Where is this department heads?
So Alderman Collins, can you explain again how the conflict is between C and 6?
Yes,
Okay.
all employees includes department heads. They have not been excluded from the definition of the word employee.
Right.
So when we say all employees, department heads are included in that group.
Mm-hmm.
And the charter says that the Board of Mayor and Aldermen and the mayor appoint department heads.
Where does it say that?
The
in the
ordinance says appoint all employees.
Where in
That's
the-
a direct conflict.
Where in the charter does it say that?
Jamie just read it.
Yeah, I mean, was that not what you read a second ago?
The mayor, what I read was the mayor's function. not,
Okay.
not BOMA's function.
We approve the appointments.
So Alderman Collins, I think what you're suggesting, I think it makes sense. I think it actually sort of clarifies a little bit. As long as we, and I don't think you're suggesting this, as long as we don't include department heads under 6 definitions. As long as we.
Or I'm not asking
Yeah,
to
yeah,
do
I don't
that,
think you
no.
are. Okay. Jesse, Jason, do y'all have any thoughts on this? I don't think it changes the definition too much. It makes it, okay, go ahead.
I think it makes it more clear. I mean, in practice, that's what we do anyway. That we bring the departments department heads up here for confirmation. It doesn't change any of the discipline. It's just the initial appointment.
Okay.
And at least in practice, since I've been here, that's what we've done. We've always brought them up here for confirmation from the board, so.
Yeah,
I-
ratification.
Right. I think in practice, it mirrors what we do.
So Alderman Collins, we might come back to you. I know Alderman Goodwin, Alderman Dixon, you wanted to mention something about this? Alderman Dixon? On this? Okay, go ahead.
I'm just having a hard time understanding C in terms of accept department heads. But yet the city administrator can remove, suspend, and discipline all employees.
So I think that the amendment, still, and Alderman Collins, feel free to interrupt me, that the city administrator is going to appoint all employees except department heads. That's going to continue to be my responsibility because it's under the charter,
Okay.
which is under state law.
Okay.
And then it says, then we're adding, the city administrator shall be able to remove, suspend, and discipline all city employees, which would include department heads.
So our COO has the ability to, I'm using different words, to fire a department head.
Yes, under remove.
Okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
Thank
okay,
you.
Okay. Thank you, Alderman Dixon. Alderman Robertson.
So Lance, are you okay with this? I mean, I think what Alderman Collins is trying to do is just stress the point that the board ratifies the recommendation of the mayor and the COO of department heads. I think that's what she's just trying to confirm. Is that right?
Alderman Collins.
The way that this is written literally says that the COO appoints department heads. That's inaccurate. It conflicts with our charter. We need to change the language to clarify that the COO does not appoint department heads.
So may I offer a sentence?
Well, I disagree with Alderman Collins because it does say in there provisions under the provisions of the charter. However, what she's offering makes it clear that the COO does not appoint the department heads, but the COO will be responsible for removing, suspending, and discipline all city employees, including department heads. Alderman Collins, did I say that correctly?
That's accurate.
Okay.
I've got it.
Oh, an amendment to the amendment?
Well, I want to just,
Okay.
if we take out except department heads, and at the end of that C, add this sentence.
Okay.
The mayor will recommend department heads for confirmation by BOMA.
Alderman Collins, your thoughts? Do you want to include that in your motion?
Sure. I appreciate that, Alderman Roberson, but this section is specifically referring to the duties of the chief administrator. So it just makes sense to clarify what the chief administrator does rather than throw in something that the mayor does. To me, it's splitting hairs, language-wise.
Alderman Robertson, you are welcome to make that amendment, that motion to amend the amendment.
Well, I'd like to, I don't want to mess up
Okay.
Alderman Collins's amendment, but Lance, what are your thoughts on the sentence that it puts in writing for future actions that the mayor will recommend department heads and the board will confirm them, which is the actual MO now. That's what we're doing. So, Lance, I mean, I don't want to mess up her amendment, but what do you think, Lance?
Well, I'm just concerned about the conflict of that language with the charter, where the mayor or the designated, or the designee, which in this case we've designated the chief of operations, shall employ, promote, discipline, suspend, and discharge all employees and department heads.
Including department heads?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I think that the MO, Alderman Robertson, like you mentioned, is that the board will ratify discipline, department heads. But nothing in the charter says that, unless there's an ordinance that was passed otherwise, which I'm not aware of, but that's always been the history. But the charter gives that power to the mayor, that authority.
So my language is consistent with the charter?
Well, recommend and employ may be a little bit different.
Alderman Collins, Alderman Robertson, what if at the end of Alderman Collins' amendment, where it says employees, we added comma, including department heads? That fixes part of the problem.
So the last sentence would read, the city administrator shall be able to suspend and discipline all city employees, comma, and I forgot the word remove.
You forgot remove, yeah.
I meant to say that, I'm sorry. Comma, including department heads, yes, that is my intent.
Okay.
And we can add that language for clarification.
Okay, Alderman Martin, are you okay with that? You made the second?
Yes.
Okay. Alderman Robertson?
I withdraw.
Okay, so, okay.
It's, Mayor.
Hold on here. Go ahead.
There is still nothing in these rules that we're looking at or in the city charter that states that the board confirms the appointment of department heads? Is that somewhere in the charter or in these rules? I'm just afraid some future mayor, not this one, but some future mayor would try to usurp the authority and say, well, I don't have to take the department heads to the board. Yeah, you've done it that way, but there's nothing in these rules that require it. So,
Lance, Jason?
Yeah,
That's why I wanted to do
it's not in the charter, and it's not under the personnel rules.
It's so much practice that I thought it was.
In fact, the ordinance that created the position of chief of operations also says employ, supervise, promote, discipline, suspend, and discharge all employees in accordance with personnel policies and procedures.
And if I could add, it would be foolish for a mayor to appoint a department head without coming to the board.
well, it'd be foolish, but we've had some foolish mayors.
That's the truth.
Not the current mayor.
Okay, thank you, okay.
And not anyone that I remember.
And we're sure to have another one.
If Alderman Collins is fine with that language, I'll withdraw my language.
Okay.
I don't want to mess it up.
So here's where we are right now. I'm going to come to Alderman Martin in just a second. Alderman Collins, feel free to correct me. Under C on page 36, it's going to read, your suggestion is, appoint all employees except department heads of the city subject to the policies set forth in this chapter, provisions of the charter, and those in state law. Or the city administrator may, at the city administrator's discretion, authorize the head of the department or office responsible to the city administrator to appoint and terminate subordinates in such departments and offices. semicolon. The city administrator shall be able to remove, suspend, and discipline all city employees, comma, including department heads. Alderman Collins, do you think we have that?
For C, and don't forget, my amendment includes an F.
That's right. And F, we haven't gotten to that yet. Notifications of action taken outside the policy will be provided to the board and mayor of Aldermen after the action is occurred, except where state and federal law prohibits it. Okay, Alderman Martin.
Just hearing the discussion, and it just reminded me that this came to us this afternoon, which means it came to Lance Ray this afternoon. He's kind of on the spot right now, and I'm kind of wondering if we postpone for 2 weeks so that he can digest it and cross-reference it with the charter and all the stuff he's trying to do right now. I don't know if we have time, but Mark Evans had a lot of great comments, and he can't be here, and I feel bad for that. And so I'm kind of wondering if maybe we take it up in 2 weeks. Just an idea.
So we have nobody else in the queue right now, and we've got an amendment on the floor that I just read, which includes 2 parts, changes to C and addition to F. Any, Alderman Collins?
If we, particularly given the conversation around Alderman Skidmore's mother, and knowing we received an email earlier that Mark Evans's mother is pretty seriously sick, and that's why he's not here. If we want, I'm comfortable deferring it. If we are going to defer it, then I want to wait to make the amendments, but go ahead and discuss them. And I don't know if there's a mechanism for us to know if we have the votes to defer and then wait to make the amendments until the next reading, or if we can, do you know what I'm asking?
Well, my suggestion would be to adopt, like this amendment I feel like is going to pass, okay? And I think that we should take advantage of that because everybody understands it.
Okay, thank you.
And I think we should continue to try other amendments, and if we get to the end, well, I'll entertain a motion to defer.
And what if an amendment doesn't pass? And then you appoint a procedure, and then can we bring it back up if we did decide to defer?
So we could bring it back up at the same meeting if somebody on the prevailing side
I mean,
asks
the
to do
next
that.
meeting,
Yes, we can.
with or without the prevailing side issue?
So there are a couple options to do that, and we've done it maybe 2 or 3 times in the past. So that is an option. I would consider that if the board has a different composition that week, that it's probably worthwhile revisiting.
Okay, thank you. And I will proceed with this amendment.
Okay. Any other clarification needed for this amendment? Jason, you ready for us? Okay. All those in favor of this amendment, please press your green button. Those opposed, press the red one. Nope. That passes unanimously. Thank you all. Alderman Collins, anything else on chapter, I think we're on chapter 2, is that correct? Okay, so Alderman Dixon, do you have anything else on chapter 2? Okay, so anybody else on chapter 2? Okay, so chapter 3, anything on chapter 3? Probably not. Yeah. Chapter 4, we're now on page 39. I'm going to turn page slowly. We get to chapter 5 at the end, at the very bottom of page 51, 52 and 53, and then we'll go over to the HR policies. Anything on chapter 5, and we do have the opportunity to come back if somebody wants to. Anything on chapter 5? Okay. I think I'm correct in saying that now we're on HR policies as opposed to any chapters. Code of Conduct, page 59. Page 63. Policy HR 01. Alderman Collins.
On page 63, section 1, the second paragraph where it says, okay, the second paragraph says, for minor items that would benefit from additional definitions, clarification, and/or application practice, you guys know I don't have the best vision, practices, the COO, under advisement from the city attorney, shall update the policy, and BOMA shall be notified as a discussion item in the general committee. So we have a mechanism for making minor changes. Major changes or revisions to the policy must go through BOMA approval. I would like to add via ordinance.
So we have a motion
Yes.
and a second from Alderman Robertson.
Thank you. That's right.
Okay. Any discussion on that? Any clarification? Go ahead.
I feel compelled to say that I wouldn't recommend an ordinance. If you wanted to say, must go through BOMA approval via resolution on 2 readings, it'd be much better than saying ordinance. An ordinance is a law. It generally applies to the public. It creates its legal force, remedies, and an employee could say that if we violated anything in a policy or a personnel rule that we've violated the law. It could give an argument to vested rights, property rights in employment. Virtually every city amends its personnel rules, adopts its personnel rules by resolution. This is being adopted by ordinance because some of it has to do with amending the Hendersonville Municipal Code. But if the goal is for 2 readings, let's just say that, can we just say that we're going to require BOMA approval via resolution by 2 readings instead of ordinance?
That's acceptable.
Okay.
Me as well.
Alderman Robertson, you made the second? Okay.
Ditto.
Okay. Approval via resolution.
Of 2, how was that again? 2 readings? With
via
2 readings?
2 readings, via 2 readings of a resolution?
Must go through BOMA approval by resolution on 2 readings.
We'll use via, that makes us sound smarter instead of by.
Okay, via sounds good.
Okay,
That was my word.
okay, yeah,
Just saying. Pretty clever.
got it. Okay, any other discussion on that? So the change we're making is the last paragraph on page 63. Any other clarification? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Anything else on HR Policy 1, page 63 and 64? Now HR 02, page 65. Go ahead, Alderman Robertson.
On HR 2, it's on page 67.
Okay.
Use of municipal time and facilities.
67.
So, Jesse, would the CEO ever approve the use of private facilities or use of municipal time for private gain? Because that's what it's referring to. It says, no official can do these things for private gain unless approved by the COO. So that just, I don't think that's good policy that, even if you approve it, if it's for private gain. Can you give me an example where that would be appropriate for private gain?
I don't think this was meant to allow people to do it. This was meant to put a provision in that says you can't do it. There's been examples when folks have maybe taken equipment home and used it. There are policies that we have where you use, I guess you could consider, we have some police officers who take vehicles home, right? We have a policy that allows them to take vehicles home.
Sure.
And we approve that. We say, hey, you can use, a vehicle if you live within a certain area, you can drive that vehicle home. So we've approved that policy, but this would restrict someone who, hey, I want to borrow, a tractor for the weekend and do some work on my yard. We're not going to allow that.
You think that's good policy to allow that? Say to work on their house or
No, sir.
rental property or anything like that?
No, sir.
So you would veto that? You would say no?
That's right. But for something like, kind of an industry standard is that police officers can take police vehicles home if they live within a certain area.
Well, they're on duty 7/24.
So that is an authorized use. But not where it's for a personal gain outside of any type of approved policy that we have.
Okay, well, I just wanted to clarify that up. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Robertson. Alderman Collins.
Jesse, stay close. So this might be a question for Gallo, actually, I don't know. But we're using the term employee here. If we use the term personnel, would that include us?
No,
What term would include us?
you're an officer.
Politicians?
I should not have asked such a broad question.
You're an officer of the.
Because a lot of these things, I do think we should be included. Like, okay, that's all. I just.
HR 03 on page 68. HR 04, page 69. HR 05, page 71. Alderman Collins.
I know who it is at this time, who is the Title VI coordinator. Do we need to specify what their training is, what department that person is from? Like, is this really enough detail?
You want to do it?
What? No.
So here's what explained to me, that the Title VI coordinator is appointed, but there are no legal requirements to hold the position. It's not like a police officer or a firefighter. They have to have certain training, or that they have to pass certain tests. However, the coordinator is responsible for ensuring compliance for training all employees. Additionally, there are annual trainings by TDEC and TDOT that the coordinator completes each year. So it could really,
It could be anyone?
yeah, it could really be anyone, but the expectation is going to be that they go through those trainings every year, and nobody knows that better than Jason and Amanda at this point. Jesse, do you want to take that?
Yeah, no, that's perfect. We didn't say it had to be Jason because it could be Amanda or someone else in the HR office, but it is appointed by me, and I don't see it going outside of HR office. But
Thank you.
there's multiple people within the HR who could do it.
Thank you.
Alderman Robertson. Thank you, Alderman Collins.
So is there state certification for a Title VI coordinator?
You want to answer that, Jason? Sure.
So there is not a state certification that you get as a Title VI coordinator. You do get certificates from the TDOT and TDEC trainings that are performed. So those are maintained every year. But there's not something like a radiologist would get. It's saying you're certified in Title VI. So anybody could be a Title VI coordinator. There's no cost to it. Yeah.
There are no
Yeah.
prerequisites to go through the course?
Are there prerequisites? No, anybody can go through the course, anybody can take the training. And anyone can be designated as the Title VI coordinator. When I talked to Amanda in our office, when she worked at the state, she was the Title VI coordinator within her division. But there are multiple Title VI coordinators for every division within the state. So I will tell you, before I got here, for a brief period of time during the transition, the city attorney was the Title VI coordinator before I came on board. So
Thanks a lot.
you're very welcome. But it really can be anybody of, the mayor, Jesse's choosing.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that if there is training, that this person that's going to have this responsibility is properly trained.
I will say that both the state agencies that I've worked with on this are more than happy to answer any questions that come up, or if there's questions about compliance, they're very receptive. So they have great resources, whoever it might be.
Okay, thank you, that's all.
Alderman Robertson, thank you. Okay, still under operating policy and procedure, we're now at HR 05. That is page 71. I'm turning to 72 and 73. 74, 75, 76. When we get to page 77, we're at procedure HR 10. Page 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88. Page 89 brings us to HR Policy 11. That's page 89. Okay. Page 90, 91, 92, 93. Page 94 gets us to HR 12. Page 95 gets us to HR 13. Page 96. Page 97 is HR 14. Go ahead, Alderman Robertson.
Do we have, Jason, any employees that are under the Federal Hatch Act?
No, not that I'm aware of at this moment.
That requires 100% of their salary to be paid by the federal government?
Right. We don't have any employees who their salary is fully paid.
Is this state-approved language?
So the Hatch Act specifically was MTAS recommended language that they are recommending all municipalities include.
Lance, there's also the Little Hatch Act, right? State.
Yes,
And is that,
that's applicable.
is that mentioned in here? The Tennessee Little Hatch Act, they call it?
It's mentioned in these rules and regulations?
Yes.
I don't think so, but it applies to state employees or state-funded employees.
But it restricts political activities, certain political activities.
For state employees, yes.
For state, not for municipal employees?
No, unless they're state-funded. But there's other laws and guidance that we've gone by, including the Little Hatch Act.
Okay.
To incorporate.
Okay, so our employees are not covered under the Little Hatch Act by the state?
That's what you sent me last week, correct?
Yes, that
Yes.
executive order. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Alderman Robertson, thank you. Alderman Dixon.
Yes, I'm sorry, it's been a few days since I read this, but, so the bullet points there under the Hatch Act, we can't change those?
97.
Or is that a pick up and drop there?
Jason?
Page 97, yes.
So that was a copy over from MTAS's recommendation.
Okay, I did have something there, but I have a general question. Just so the board understands, outside of the details of this, an employee working for the city, we're saying they cannot actively campaign for the current board as a nonpartisan board?
Right, so if an employee was to run for a seat on the board, our policy is saying that they would have to resign their position.
That's
Okay.
state law.
Okay, well, what if an employee is campaigning against, say, the mayor as a full-time mayor?
You and Eddie are after me, aren't you?
No, I'm just saying, that's happened before, and I want to know if, we didn't have these policies in place then, and I just want to know, is that a problem now?
So that would be an elected position?
Yes.
Falling under the same guidelines. So if somebody were to run for mayor.
No, I mean, can that employee actively
Campaign.
for an opponent?
They're entitled to their political views.
Okay.
They just can't do it on work time.
Or what about, okay, I left something out. on city grounds?
I don't.
If they were in the parking lot making video of, I mean, is that,
They shouldn't as an employee. We want to maintain the city hall area as neutral as possible.
I understand, and it hasn't been in the past, so that's why I'm trying to,
I do not believe we explicitly state that they can't have campaign signs
or
on city
make
grounds.
videos in the parking lot showing City Hall with the other opponent.
I might defer a little bit to Lance on this one because we're
that
getting
has
into
happened.
political views, so.
It all depends on context, but you
I'm
can't,
not
you
trying
can't
to be funny
prohibit
here.
somebody
It's
from.
serious to me. This
I
is a
under-
serious, I'm just.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just serious to me.
I mean, you can't prohibit somebody from videoing on public property anyway, but,
Yeah.
but I don't think the way I understand what you're explaining, the context, it's anything we can prohibit.
Okay, that's all I want to know. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Dixon. Alderman Collins.
Alderman Dixon, I had not thought of the use of the parking lot but that made me think about when we pay a vehicle allowance and then they have a bumper sticker or a magnet for a candidate. But the car itself maybe doesn't have our emblem on it. Is that acceptable?
It's not city property. I don't think it'd be appropriate to put a sticker on a city truck or a city vehicle, but a vehicle allowance isn't.
If it's a car allowance.
A car
that we're
allowance
paying.
isn't city
It
property.
doesn't, we don't own the car. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Collins. Thank you, Alderman Dixon. Alderman Robertson, I cut you off a few minutes ago. Okay. We're on page 97, HR 14, page 98, page 99. Now page 100, HR 15. Page 101, page 102 is the beginning of HR 16. Page 103 is the beginning of HR 17. 18 is HR 18. I'm sorry, page 104 is HR 18. Page 105 is HR 19. Page 107 is HR 30. Page 108, page 109, Alderman Collins. Okay.
On page 109, under the section that says hard to fill, and give me just a second, please.
So just to
Okay.
catch everybody up, still page 1 down at the bottom of what Alderman Collins sent last night that you've got a copy of. Page 1, very bottom. Go ahead, Alderman Collins.
Okay, this is under, this is under recruitment and employment, hard to fill positions. We have had a lot of recent experience with hard to fill positions, and we've made some exceptions recently where we have awarded vacation time differently for a new hire because they negotiated for it. We've also had a few situations where we've hired somebody who hasn't met the minimum qualifications for the job. I think that those exceptions are part of the day-to-day running, and one of the reasons that this offers, that the document provides for the COO to use his discretion. However, when we are operating outside of policy, I would like to be notified. So at the end of the second paragraph under hard to fill positions, I would like to add, if exceptions are made to any policy including pay, benefits, or minimum job requirements, BOMA shall be notified.
And I think that's a proper oversight role, so I'll second that motion.
So we have a motion from Alderman Collins, a second from Alderman Robertson. So where we need to look is on page 109, right in the middle of the page, hard to fill. And I got lost myself. Alderman Collins, help me out.
Yeah, on page 109, under hard to fill, there's two paragraphs. So I just want to add a sentence onto the very end of the second paragraph. If exceptions are made to any policy including pay, benefits, or minimum job requirements, BOMA shall be notified.
Okay. And we have a second from Alderman Robertson. Alderman Bergdorf, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Alderman Collins, just looking at this, and I appreciate the idea of it, and I think I like the addition. What form of notification are you interested in doing to BOMA? What would that look like? Would it just be at the COO's report? Would it be, how would you want us notified?
I think an email is appropriate. I know in other parts of the document, there's notifications provided by adding an item onto the agenda for the general committee. However, this involves a person, a real human being.
Absolutely.
So I think an email with the reference to their job title, not their name, is appropriate and adequate.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted clarification. Thank you.
So we've got a motion and a second. Any other discussion or clarification? All those in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no.
No.
We have a no. Hold on, Jason, you ready for us? Okay. So all those in favor, press the green button. Those opposed, press the red one. So that passes 9-3. Those voting in favor are Alderman Bergdorf, Martin, Sassy, Garza, and myself. Alderman Goodwin, Garten, Collins, Robertson. Those voting against, Alderman Skidmore, Ward, and Dixon. Did I get that correct? Okay, hold on one second, Jason. Thank you. So we are still on HR 30. We're turning from page 109 to page 110. You're good, Jason. Thank you. Okay. Alderman Robertson, do you want to speak or just leave your light on?
Oh, no.
Sorry about that. Okay. Page 111, 112, 113, 114. Now we're on HR 31. On page 115. I apologize for standing up, y'all. I've had a sort of problem in my neck, and my elbow is getting sore because of the nerve in the back of my neck. So we're page 115, page 116, page 16. I'm sorry, Alderman Collins.
I have a question.
Okay.
We're referring to cancer screenings here under the Bradford Barry Brady Act. One is a house and one is an act. And I'm wondering, what is the cancer screening exactly? Blood work, ultrasound, both? I know we don't want to put that in here because medical technology will change, but I would like to know what it currently is.
Yeah, so there's a variety of tests that they go through. Blood is just one. They give stool samples. They'll go through and go through a variety of tests. So they do that annually every year to participate in it. And so as we need to, we modify those tests. Sometimes it's based on the blood results and different markers
Okay.
they're looking for.
I assume that if their blood work triggers additional testing, we continue to pay as
Right,
the
so
medical professional determines appropriate.
Barry Brady screening is paid by the city. Yep, so if there was additional testing that needed to occur because of that screening, that falls to our cost. No different than a pre-employment test would as well.
Okay, thank you.
Alderman Collins, thank you. Thank you, Jason. Page 115, HR 31, we're moving on from there. Page 116. Then we on page 117, we get to HR 40. That goes through 118 and 119. Alderman Goodwin.
Hit it too soon. I'm on 121.
Well, I was about to ask you when yours was coming up.
One of mine's coming up.
Okay, okay. So we're on HR 41, page 120, and page 121. Is that where you need to be, Alderman Goodwin? Go ahead.
Question, on page 121, the hiring authority desiring to appoint an applicant at a salary above the normal hiring rate must submit a written justification through the Administrative Services Director. Such appointments will be decided by the COO, so they can change the pay range and go above or below it.
Jason?
Yeah, when there's justified cause for it.
Okay. That's it on that page.
Page 122, and then you've got something on 120.
I got 123.
120, okay, go ahead.
Just a suggestion on longevity. Is there a way, instead of starting at year 1, we start at year 5 and go past 20 so we can reward the people that stay with the city for a long time?
We've talked about that so many times. Jason, can you remind why we decided to stick with this?
I mean, with this one, we looked at a variety of options. Different agencies also do it different ways. Some of the things that we have to look at are turnover. So within, departments, especially the newer generations, regardless of what industry they're working in, we see the most turnover within the first 3 years. And so to be able to have a little bit of a financial incentive to get them to stay is helpful. I do know that the state goes up to 30 years on theirs. Other agencies cut it off at 20. So we're kind of right in the middle with ours, but I know we've entertained the idea a few times to adjust.
There's nothing hard and fast about what's right or wrong. It's just what works for us.
I would like to extend it.
Do you want to make a motion?
Sure. I would like to make a motion to extend it. I don't really think we ought to put an end date on it.
So help me figure out where
I
we're.
say start at year 5, and if you stay with the city 30 years, more power to you.
So where would we?
Number
change it?
6.
Okay. So instead of the first year, we would cross it out and say the 5th year, completion of the 5th year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And instead of 20 years till your end of service.
Second.
Okay. So then on the third line, instead of 20 years, we would put 30 years.
Let's,
Oh, no. Actually, help me out, Alderman Goodwin.
well, Alderman Garton's going to change it. I would say, shall receive a bonus of $100 per year till they retire, till they leave Hendersonville.
Just cross out a maximum of 20 years.
Yep.
So, and cross out the rest of the paragraph. Well, employees who exceed 20 years of service, we need to cross that out too.
Yep.
So I think we're doing, help me out here, Alderman Goodwin and Alderman Garden. Alderman Garden, you seconded that, is that right? Okay.
She wants to change it to the 1 to 3 years, so just take the ending off.
I need to know what the motion is from the person who
Okay.
made the motion.
To leave it like it is, except instead of a maximum of 20 years until they retire. So it doesn't stop at 20 years until they retire.
And I seconded that, and I approve.
Okay, so I think I'm doing this correct. I think this is what your intention is. We would have to, we leave the first line as it is. We get to the second line, and when it says $100 a year for employment, period.
Correct.
We would cross out to a maximum of 20 years of full-time service, continue to cross out, employees who exceed 20 years of service will continue to receive their maximum amount equivalent to 20 years of full-time service each subsequent year. That would be crossed out.
Correct.
We would leave, if approved, to the end of the paragraph.
Correct.
Okay, we have a motion from Alderman Goodwin and a second from Alderman Collins. Okay, discussion on that. Alderman Garten, discussion on that?
Okay, just clarify, are you cutting years 1 through 5?
No, 1 through 5 is
You're
staying
leaving
in
1
there.
through 5. Okay, then I can support that.
So under Alderman Goodwin's, it starts at the first year and continues through
Till they
forever.
retire.
Okay. Alderman Roberts, I'm sorry, Alderman Sassy on this?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Jason,
Yes, sir.
So this longevity pay, once they've reached 20 years, does it just end?
So, no, as it stands right now, once someone reaches 20 years, as they exceed that, for example, we have employees who have been here 30 years and 35 years, they get the 20-year equivalent, so they'll get $2,000 at this moment, and so that also gives some boundaries, if you will, when it comes to budget and the cost of these. So, yeah, as it stands, once they hit 21 years, it's 20 years of service. If it's 45 years, it's 20 years of service as a longevity payment.
Thank you. So I guess point of clarification on this amendment, are you saying that even on their 21st year, they'd receive 2,100, then 2,200? So stopping at the 2,000, you want to just maintain and keep it up? Okay. Have we analyzed, well, first of all, would existing employees qualify for this?
So,
For this
yeah,
change?
I would assume yes.
Okay. And have we analyzed what the financial impact is?
That's the first I've heard of it, so.
Okay. I mean, I would want to see the financial impact on this before we voted on it. I mean, it may be small, but it's something, so, if we could get those numbers, and maybe if we do defer this, then we can bring this one back. So I'm offering, to us to maybe postpone this until the next reading if we decide to defer this, which I will support, by the way. Thank you.
Alderman Sassy, thank you. Alderman Robertson.
No, I concur with Finance Chairman on that, that I'd like to know what the fiscal note on that is. So,
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion or need for clarification on the amendment? Jason, you ready for us?
I can
I'm sorry.
withdraw it for now.
Okay.
So it doesn't fail.
Okay, so that's withdrawn. Alderman Goodwin, did you have anything else on this, in this section?
Yes.
Oh, I'm
Page,
sorry. Alderman Collins, did you?
Oh, no, I thought she was done. I'll wait my turn.
Okay.
patiently.
Are you okay withdrawing this amendment? This
Yes,
motion?
I am.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Alderman Goodwin.
page 125.
Okay?
Jason, can I borrow you just a minute? I have an amendment, but I want to go over a couple of things first to make sure that everyone is clear on it. I have a question. If we have 2 employees that are starting today, the way that this is written, they're starting the same position, 2 employees. One has a master's degree, one does not. So the one with the master's degree is going to come in under the way the e-pay is in here after March 22nd, the new way. They would start on step 4, correct? Because they have a master's.
Correct.
The other employee who has no degree will start on step 1. So after 13 years, employee number 1 is maxed out at step 17.
Correct.
Because they've taken no promotions. Employee number 2 that started on step 1 will catch up to him 4 years later. So he's now at 17. They both make the same money for the rest of their careers. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. That is why I am proposing this amendment, because I don't think that is right. I think that is costing the employee too much money. So my first amendment, I have 2 in case the first one doesn't pass, is handed out to you. Everything would stay the same. You are going to strike in red any employee hired before March 22nd.
Hold on, I think everybody has this. No?
I handed it out.
We've got more.
The mayor didn't pass it all the way down. He didn't hand it down.
Oh, sorry.
Right here. Okay. Does it say page 6 of 8 down here? Yes. Okay. So you were going to strike, are y'all ready down there?
We got 1 minute, sorry, hold on.
Get with it.
I'm getting there.
Okay, we are going to strike any employee hired before March 22nd, 2026 will continue to be eligible to receive e-pay. Employees hired after that, the part in red is going to be striked. Then you're going to come down to where it says employees hired on or after March 22nd, 2026. That paragraph, everything from that paragraph down will be gone. And what that will do will put this back to the way that e-pay has always been done. We'll get rid of the old people have it done one way and the new people have it a different way. That way all of our people that are currently working on degrees, so basically we are putting it back to the way that it's been. Since Jason's been here, I've been told it's been configured consistently, and so I'm good with that. So that is my first amendment, to put it back to the way it is, and we accomplished that by striking that out.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Alderman Collins, go ahead.
If it is considered a friendly amendment, if we could add, to that under what now becomes the last paragraph, if approved, changes in pay status will be made on the soonest effective payroll date after approval is granted and submitted to the HR department. I would just like to add, all calculations shall be performed by the HR department to ensure uniformity in the application of e-pay. If that's a friendly amendment, thank you.
So my comment on that is that if our concern is that people who are working on degrees right now under the reasonable assumption or obligation that the city will provide them a greater e-pay, the easy solution is to grandfather 2 years, 4 years? So that this change, keep it the way it is written here, not the amendment, and just grandfather it for 4 years, because I do feel like if somebody just recently started a degree program, I feel like we're changing the rules on them if we don't allow them to have e-pay. And so my suggestion would be that we just grandfather those who are in a degree program as of, let's say, July 1st, 2026, and they have 4 years to complete it, and they will receive e-pay as it is today. Everybody after that we'd give them, say, 4 or 5 years to finish their degree. But then everybody after that, the e-pay would be what is in here. So if the concern is that people have as Alderman Goodwin said, if the concern is that people who have started programs and degree programs that we're changing the rules on them, the solution is to grandfather those people who have started the degree program.
Can I respond to that?
So hold on. So I'm going to vote against this, and then I'll make a motion to address those folks that are in a degree program under our obligation to pay them. Alderman Goodwin, go ahead.
What I failed to mention, another reason that I'm for this, we've promised all these employees all these years that this is the way it's going to be, and this is another thing that we're going to take away from them, and I completely disagree with that. And to give somebody 4 years or whatever, what if they're going to take their time and do it in a way? And I believe the way that's being proposed, if someone stays here 30 years, you're cheating them out of 13 years of e-pay, and I have a real problem with that. So I won't be supporting yours.
Any other discussion?
I do.
Go ahead, Alderman Collins.
Thank you. I realize my light's just been on continuously, and you probably didn't realize I wanted to speak again, but I do. I appreciate what you're saying, Mayor Clary, because the way that it's currently written, we wouldn't just be switching it in the middle of somebody's quest to get their degree, we'd be switching it in the middle of the semester. So you can't have any control over that. You could be getting your last 3 credit hours. You can't make the semester end in March. It won't, never has, never will. But I don't think it addresses the real, to me, the underlying problem with e-pay is that it's been applied differently for different people, for different departments, perhaps by different administrations that we have had. But it certainly has not been applied equally amongst all of our employees. So changing the way that we use e-pay for yet another group of employees does not make sense to me. I think that clarifying the way that we do the math, making sure that one department does the math. We now have the example of how the math is done. It's be really hard to argue that there's another way to go about doing the math. That we can expect moving forward with Alderman Goodwin's amendment, that e-pay would be applied equitably for all employees, and that is my goal. And so having 2 different systems to live under, no matter when you start it, still creates this chaotic e-pay environment, in my opinion. Thank you.
Alderman Collins, thank you. Alderman Bergdorf.
Thank you, Mayor. Alderman Collins, thank you. I don't often agree with you, but I will on that one. I like simplicity in its best form. And sometimes when we are trying to switch horses in midstream, it tends to muddy the waters. No pun intended at that. But this goes back to our point about we're doing a pay study. We've asked last week already if there were any consistencies that we could identify out there in the community. And you identified that they were all across the board. I did a little research on my own, and between these 4 cities, Mount Juliet, Hendersonville, Gallatin, and Lebanon, I'm sorry, I didn't mean the city to the north. I apologize. Okay. Out of those 4, we are right in the middle as far as compensation goes, as far as employee compensation. What it breaks down to is Mount Juliet just had a large push to get employees, correct? And they also just had a large, anybody want to say the word? Increase. So, so to pay for the employees. Gallatin starts a little lower, Lebanon is a little bit lower, but Hendersonville is right there in the sweet spot, I would say. We're right between those 2 major cities. At this point, it appears that Hendersonville values education. They value the employee. They work the employee from the bottom up, and they want the employee to stay with them. So I would like to, I appreciate Jason's efforts to make sure everything is, the e-pay is applied equally and equitably. So I appreciate the Collins, was that your amendment, Collins?
It's a combination.
Combination, okay. I appreciate it. So I'm going to speak to this and support the e-pay resolution. Thank you.
Alderman Bergdorf, thank you. Alderman Robertson.
What's the motivation for doing this? What did the staff have? It's the motivation for trying to change it.
What we're looking for is just consistency in application. At the end of the day, we walked into something that was very confusing for a lot of employees. So we were trying to come up with a mechanism that if we removed everybody who was involved and all the historical knowledge that goes with it, anybody could walk in and apply the same standards.
I have no idea where this goes.
So have we established systems that calculate it correctly now?
We have had to, yes.
So we've fixed the problem? I mean, through your hard work, I mean, you know, that's what I'm asking. Are we still seeing errors, or does the system that we have now appear to be working?
There are still inequities from the past that we have not corrected, but the promotions that have occurred since my time here, the best I can say is that those are done correctly. But we still have a few that are outstanding, so.
Alderman Robertson, may I ask a follow-up question of yours?
Please.
Okay. Jason, under the current system, a department head could follow what our expectations are and come up with a level of pay involving e-pay. An employee would have reason to contest that,
Right.
as it should be more. Am I correct?
We've had issues where they have argued, yes, that they felt it should be more.
That's the motivation, is to make sure the employees and the staff know what it's gonna be, so that we can remove the argument of an employee saying, no, you didn't figure it correctly.
But they shouldn't have that argument now because we've got it fixed. Right?
You will always have someone who's going to argue the point.
Well, yes.
They shouldn't have that argument. You're exactly right.
Okay.
Doesn't prevent them from hiring counsel and making that case, which I don't want y'all to face that decision. So passing this will prevent that from happening. So, anything else on the amendment? Jason, you ready for us? Okay, Alderman Goodwin, go ahead.
We will be striking. It will basically be left the way it is. Been done now that HR has got it figured out. It'll be done consistently. And you are going to strike from where it is in red, any employee hired before that date, all the way down to the end. With Alderman Collins, that it will all be done through the one department.
Any other discussion? Jason, you ready for us? All those in favor, press the green button. Those opposed, press the red. So that passes 9-3. Alderman Robertson, Collins, Garden, Goodwin, Alderman Garza, Martin, Ward, Skidmore, Bergdorf voting in favor. Those against, Alderman Sassy, myself, and Alderman Dixon. Okay, Alderman Collins, so that passes. Alderman Collins, you had something, I believe, on page 120.
No, I think I'll be quiet for a few minutes.
Okay. All right.
Okay, go ahead.
Actually, the first thing is in section 2, the first paragraph.
We go back, is that correct?
On page 120, yes.
Thank you, okay.
120.
On page 120, section 2, maintenance of the pay plan. After consultation, I wanted to add after consultation with department heads, but actually I think we might have done that in the first reading. Does anybody know?
It will be in the history.
Where's that?
Jesse?
I didn't.
What was talked about at the
Check.
first reading was for the staffing numbers.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So I would like for the last sentence of the first paragraph of section 2 to read, the COO, after consultation with department heads, shall then recommend to BOMA such changes in salary ranges as appear to be in order. Not that I think we are not consulting the department heads, but just to clarify that and have it written. And then under section 3, the hiring rate, I would like to add on to the end of that paragraph, BOMA will be notified if a candidate accepts an offer outside the normal hiring rate. Previously in that paragraph, you can see the minimum rate established for the class is the normal hiring rate. And we're only making exceptions under unusual circumstances. I don't need to be a part of that decision at all, but I just want to be aware so that we can see if there's a trend where it's happening frequently, we may need to make some changes. So it's just a notification after the fact. And of course, only if they accept the position. Offering it to them and they don't accept, then it doesn't really count in my mind.
So it's a two-part motion.
Yes, it
Do we
is.
have a second? We have a second from Alderman Goodwin. Any need for clarification or discussion on the motion? Go ahead, Alderman Collins, go ahead. They'd like for you to repeat it.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Page 2.
Page 2, page 120, section 2, first paragraph, last sentence. The COO, I would like to add, after consultation with department heads. And then continue. Shall then recommend to BOMA such changes in salary ranges as appear to be in order. Section 3, under hiring rate, I would like to add at the very end a sentence to say, BOMA will be notified if a candidate accepts an offer outside the normal hiring rate.
Any other discussion or clarification? Jason, you ready for us? We have a motion. Who made the second? Okay. We're voting on both. All those in favor, press the green button. Those against, press the red one. So that passes 7-5. Those voting in favor, Alderman Bergdorf, Martin, Garza, myself. Alderman Goodwin, Garten, Collins. Those voting against, Alderman Robertson, Dixon, Sassy, Ward, and Skidmore. That passes 7-5. Okay. So are we finished with HR 41? We're not. We need to go to page, Alderman Collins, we need to go to page 125 and 126, am I correct?
Actually, we incorporated that.
Did we? Okay. Okay. So we're on page 126, 127. Page 128 is HR 42. Alderman, okay, Alderman Collins, go ahead.
I think, I'll need Mr. Ray to clarify this, but I think with the amendment that we just made to e-pay, that we need to cross out this grandfathered e-pay employment section on page 131. Is that true?
Under examples,
Well,
under
the whole
grandfathered
grandfathered e-pay and the examples. I think that is,
Just that part? No.
Yeah, so you're saying there's no reason to grandfather anybody because we're continuing with e-pay as it is?
yes.
Jason, you see,
Right, so we are gonna have to rework this whole section,
Okay.
with even the examples that are there. So based off of what was just voted and removing the grandfather clause,
Okay.
we'll have to rework all of these examples and remove that section.
It might be time to take a break.
I don't think we can rework examples tonight.
I'm not sure I can do the math that quick.
What if we took a 10-minute break?
Can I ask a question?
Hold on a second.
Will you have to
Ho-
why would you have to reconfigure?
Yeah, I don't think we'll have to redo the calculations, but in my opinion, this would be, we have the ability with minor revisions, so we would be making some of these minor revisions to match the amendment language. So if the amendment language pulls out a grandfathered clause, then we would just clean up the language in here. We'd come back to general and we'd submit that as, hey, this is what it looks like cleaned up. But I don't think we need to rework that all tonight, because we'll want to go through it pretty methodically to make sure that we've taken those clauses out. But if e-pay is going to stay the way it is, we will remove those, but that will just be kind of an administrative removal.
Okay. So should we, I'm asking all three of y'all, on page 131, where it says grandfathered e-pay employees, all the way down to promotional benefit level, those 1, 2, 3 paragraphs, is it best to scratch those tonight?
One shaking yes and one shaking no.
Remove this.
There may be more than that. So my recommendation would be that based on the amendment that was made, that we go back and we clean up any language in there that refers to grandfather, because it may be other places. And then we'll submit just to receive and file as a clean copy at general committee.
Okay, but we could still go ahead and pass the whole thing tonight, and then we'll come back to general, okay, appreciate that. So Alderman Collins, go ahead.
Oh, actually, I'm comfortable with that.
Okay, Alderman Goodwin, I think, so from what you handed out, I don't think you have any more proposed changes, am I correct?
Done.
Okay, Alderman Collins, do you have any other proposed changes?
But
Okay.
I don't have any more amendments
Okay.
necessarily, depending on my questions getting answered.
We're gonna go to Alderman Sassy, and then we'll restart the process. Let's go to Alderman Sassy first. Alderman Sassy, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to defer this ordinance until 2 weeks from now.
Okay, do we want to do that now, or do we want to take a break first? It might
I would
cause
like to
some
do that
discussion.
now and get it done.
Okay, so we have a motion to defer this for 2 weeks, and we have a second from Alderman Garza. I'll speak on that real quick. So my problem is that we have, and this is Jason's analogy, we have a broken car sitting in the front yard. We know it's broken, and we've been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. I think that we can muddle through this tonight, answer the questions tonight, and I feel like we've done a lot of good work. If we put it off, I'm okay with that. We're still gonna come back here and have the same work in front of us. I don't think putting it off is gonna help us overcome some of the questions and concerns we have. We need to fix the car. And putting it off a couple weeks means the broken car is gonna sit in the front yard for longer. What I'd rather do is, instead of deferring it, let's finish everything we need to do tonight. When we come to final passage, then we'll have a discussion on deferring it. But I think we should keep going on and see if there's any other changes that are proposed. So we have a motion, a second. Anybody else wish to speak on that motion? Okay, Jason, ready for us? Okay, so deferring it for 2 weeks, press the green button. Opposed to deferring it, press the red one. Okay, so that fails 5-7. Those voting in favor of deferral: Bergdorf, Skidmore, Ward, Dixon, Garten, and Robertson, and myself. Those voting in favor of deferring: Martin, Sassy, and Garza, Goodwin, and Collins. So we're back to the main motion, but hold on just a second, Jason. Alderman Goodwin, go ahead. You want to make a motion?
To take a break.
Okay, we have a motion to take a break. Do we have a second?
Second.
A second from Alderman Garten. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. No. Okay, hold on, Jason.
Oh, come on, y'all.
Okay, so thank you, Jason. So, those in favor of taking a break, you ready for us? Press the, nope, not yet. Caught up? Okay. Those in favor of taking a 5-minute break, you're gonna press the green button. Those against are gonna press the red button, but not quite yet. The suspense is building. There we go. So that passes 8-4. Those in favor: Alderman Bergdorf, Skidmore, Ward, myself, Alderman Goodwin, Garten, Collins, and Robertson. Those opposed: Alderman Dixon, Garza, Sassy, and Martin. Jason, if you could leave that up for a second, I'd appreciate that, and we'll be back in 5 minutes. Ready? You can take this down, and we're ready to go. Okay. Okay, we're back. Appreciate that. So is he not here? Skidmore? Are we still waiting on?
He's down here. He switched ends. He came to the better end.
He wants to hang out with the girls.
Across the track.
I heard his voice. I thought we were okay.
I think he's mutiny.
You're fine. Yeah. No, my fault.
I'm not on the agenda for my planning commission report.
We can probably work something out. Hold it. No, we did it 2 weeks ago.
Well, we just had a meeting.
No. We have one coming up. Yeah, we have one next. Yeah, we did have one last week.
Yeah, I haven't given them one yet.
Okay. We'll see what the rest of the board thinks about it. I apologize, y'all. I started the meeting before a break was finished, and we weren't ready. So I apologize for that. I should have done a better job with that. So we are on, let's see, we're on page 131, 132, 133, 134. Feel free to stop me anytime. 135 is HR 50. If you have any questions or amendments, please let me know. Okay. We're going to 136 and 137, 138, 139. Then HR 51 on page 140, 141, 142, 143, 144, 145, 140, I'm sorry? Alderman Collins. 143.
So to me, the bullet points at the bottom that talk about if you miss 3 days of work, you have to have a doctor's excuse for the third day. And it has to tell you when you're allowed to come back to work, when you're released to come back to work. And I understand that is a common practice in government, but it's not in the public sector, I should say, but it's not a common practice in the private sector. And it also has a part in here about that the department head, as soon as can ask them for it anyway, and then it says it's required. And I don't like it.
That's a question like that. I'm going to turn to Jason Gallo.
So on this one, we have a lot of department heads who are looking for teeth, if you will, ways to hold employees accountable who are abusing time. And so I understand kind of, because I came from the private sector, of asking for doctor's notes is kind of a practice that's largely ended in the private sector, but in public sector, it's still very much a thing that is looked to. And it was a question that you had posed, I think, when we had the workshop. And even after then, I have had department heads reach out to me and ask if we can still require doctor's notes after 3 days. So the ones who do it every time are dealing with employees who have excessive absences. And so again, it gives some teeth for them to hold their employees accountable and staff their departments.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the fifth bullet point says medical certificates or other acceptable evidence may be required at for a shorter period of time at the discretion of the department head. What if we just said, crossed out for a shorter period of time of absence and just said at the discretion of the department head? Because also the way this is written now, the way it reads to me anyway, I've learned that what I think it reads as and what it says are maybe not the same thing. But the way it reads to me is the doctor's note. Like, let's say I have the flu and it's been 3 days. So I go to the doctor, even though that's over-the-counter medication, right? So it's a total waste of my time and resources. But I go to the doctor, I get my doctor's note. He says, well, the flu usually takes 11 days. Okay, and here's I think it's called Tamiflu, and I'm better in 3. Can I not come back to work?
You need to get an updated doctor's note. It also protects the city. So
I understand.
If somebody's coming back before a doctor releases them, that puts us liable for anything
Does the
that
doctor
happens.
really need to release me from a virus?
If they take
I'm
you
not
off.
disabled. I don't have a broken back. I don't
understand that.
have a limb impairment that prevents me from physically doing my job.
Sure. We're not trained
have a
medical
virus.
professionals, though, to make that decision.
Which is what we're getting into by requiring notes.
Well, we're
I also
asking,
think people are just going to take 2 days sick, a day of vacation, another 2 days sick, another day of vacation. I mean,
and I've seen people do that as well. So, yep. You're always going to find someone who's going to work it no matter what the requirement is. So,
okay, if you really want to do this, all right.
Jason, can Teladoc provide that?
yes, I'll give my example. I had pink eye courtesy of my children. And with that, while I was on the phone with Teladoc, they said, do you need a note for work?
Okay.
I actually said no, and they sent me one anyway.
Okay.
So that's a common practice with Teladoc, that they will issue a note.
Okay. Thank you, Alderman Collins. Alderman Ward.
I think we should leave it like it is. It relieves the city of liability if somebody is hurt. The notes that we would require back in the day would be, you know, can they return back to full work? Does it need to be limited work? That covers viruses or anything else. And if you're good after 3 days of taking Tamiflu, I would like for the doctor to say she's not contagious and she can come to work. And that would require an updated doctor's note. I think we should leave it in there and leave it intact.
Thank you, Alderman Ward. So that was page 143, 144, 145, 146, 147, 148. And that takes us to page 149, which is HR 52. Page 150, 151, 152, 153, 154, 155, 156 is HR 53. Hold on. Did I say that incorrectly a second ago? Yeah, HR 52 is what we just finished. Now we're on HR 53 on page 156, then 157. Page 158 is HR 54. Jason and JP, thank you for helping me following along. Page 159, then page 160 is HR 60. 161, 162. Page 163 is HR 61. Then page 164, 165, 166. 167 is HR 70. 168, 169, 170. We get to 171, and that's HR Policy 71. Page 172, 173, 174. I heard somebody down there. Okay. Page 175 is HR 80. Go ahead, Alderman Robertson. Did I go too fast?
Yeah, on page 168.
Okay.
Alderman Evans also brought this up. The phrase immoral conduct. Lance, what would be the definition of immoral conduct?
Usually it
Page
involves,
168.
what page are we on again?
It's on page 168.
16.
Yeah, item 16.
Dishonesty, intemperance, that's drunk.
So the state, I'm sorry, the state has a definition, am I right, Lance?
It's more about moral turpitude, which I think it may be a different context than this. Let me just read this.
Jason, is this from the state? Is this from the state policies?
This is a combination of what was from MTAS and our prior policy as well.
Okay, okay.
Anything?
No.
Okay.
Are you satisfied with that, Alderman Robertson?
Alderman Robertson, anything from Lance, or are you good?
I guess immoral conduct, you know it when you see it, I guess.
Right. I won't name names, but there was another municipality that dealt with this.
Was it
and-
the city to the north?
No, opposite direction, but okay.
Keep it anonymous.
I will keep it anonymous, but they had this with their employees. It hit the news. They had conduct that was very much unbecoming of
Yes.
the department and the city as a whole.
Yeah.
So.
So that would be like Epstein Island, I guess. Okay, no, I think that's good enough. I just wanted to raise that because it's a,
Page 169, 170. Thank you, Alderman Robertson. Okay. 171 starts HR 71. And page 172 and 173, 174. You get to HR 80 on page 175. 176 and 177. You get to HR 81 on 178. 179, 180. On page 181, we're at HR 90. I'm sorry, I heard somebody. Oh, Alderman Collins.
I'm on page 176, because apparently I'm slower than you. I just want to make sure I understand what we're saying here is that if we decide to have layoffs, we're in a really bad place. But we would give our employees 2 weeks notice before their last day of work.
Good, Jason.
That's just the minimum standard that we're putting. We can give more. So the minimum would be 2 weeks.
Okay.
So if you wanted to give 3 months, you could do that.
So can you give me an example of what circumstances we would, like, we would have to vote to lay people off, right?
You would be, like when you pass a budget, you'd be eliminating funding for positions, yes.
And then 2 weeks later, you're gonna
would be-
already know who it is and tell them, and 2 weeks later, they'll be gone as soon as we would place that vote?
That would be the fastest that we would do that.
Or the board could decide that by Christmas, the mayor needs to eliminate so many positions in each department or something like that.
I guess leaving it as a 2-week minimum does make sense, but I would certainly hope we could do more than that.
I pray we never have to go down that path, but.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But if we did it, I would like to give people more notice, but I understand, I can't think of an example of why that would be necessary, but I guess we need to leave that option open. Thank you.
So that's page 176 and page 177. And 178 gets us to HR 81. That includes page 179 and 180. Then we get to HR 90 on page 181, followed by 182 and 183. And then page 184, we get to definitions, which is HR 99. That goes to 185, 186, 187, 188, 189, 190, 191. And then you get to essentially an index back there. And then you get to Exhibit B on page 196 and 197. So we are... So, Alderman Collins, go ahead.
I'm so sorry. I
You're fine.
really am. Page 186, the definition of employee does not match the initial definition of employee. And so I just want to understand does that include us? Does it include the planning commission?
No,
Does it include us?
no.
It excludes the same groups that were excluded in the beginning?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So I had a conversation with Jason and Jesse earlier, and following up on what they said about removing that grandfather piece and refiguring some things, that's probably going to take some time. Jesse, we also said that there was and that there are some other items that we could include in the compensation study that we're doing right now. What'd you say, 80% finished with the compensation study?
60, 70?
Okay, okay. So here's my suggestion, is that we pass this on second reading. Any other changes, fine. Any other discussion, fine. Since we're gonna need more time to look at e-pay and the changes that are needed there, it's probably not something, it may take longer than 2 weeks. And I think we addressed most of Alderman Evans' questions. He might still have some. And some of those items can be addressed by resolution if we pass this tonight. And certainly, if it's a major change, we can come back with an amendment to this, which would take an ordinance. So my preference is that we fix the car on the front lawn. What I worry about is if we put it off, we won't be able to do everything we need to do in 2 weeks. So if we passed it tonight, we have a base. We can figure out what changes need to be made based on the conversations, based on some of the amendments, come back and make those amendments. And it gets us into compliance right now with state law. That bothers me a lot, that we're having to make decisions on federal law, Jason?
State.
Okay, it's just state, that don't fit what our ordinance is. Of course, we're gonna follow state law. State law allows us to exist. So we're definitely follow that. So I would hope that we would pass this tonight, give the staff some time to look at the changes we made in e-pay. Also, then we're still working on the compensation study, and that might require some changes as well. But this would be our base. We would allow staff time to make suggested changes and then come back to the board. Jesse, go ahead.
Yeah, and I know you probably have this in the queue, but just as a reminder, on page 196 and 197, there were some clerical errors that we just wanted to clean up some of the language that could be passed along with this ordinance.
Okay. Thank you. So this came from Jason also, and this is something that we need to do. Clerical, absolutely. But since we caught him before we passed second reading, I want to bring him to you as opposed to just go to Lance and say, what do we do with these? Alderman Sassy, you're in the queue. Could I make a motion for these clerical errors to be fixed before? Sure. Okay. So if you look at page 196, 197, thank you, Jesse, for reminding me of that. And this was included in your packet that you've had available to you since Thursday. All clerical, you see a couple things with some dates, which is what most of them are. And then one of them is just really very, very much a typo. I'm going to make that motion that we adopt the items on 196 and 197. Do I have a second? I'll second. We have a second from Alderman Garza. Any discussion on that? All those in favor of adopting that motion for amendment from pages 196 and 197, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Gabby, are we good? Mm-hmm. Okay. Alderman Sassy.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate your car analogy. It made sense to me.
It was
really
Jason's,
did.
it wasn't mine.
It wasn't yours. But at the same time, when I take my car into the shop to get the transmission replaced, I don't leave it just an oil change. So I think there was still a lot of questions around some of the things in this, and I want to make sure we do it right. Plus, I know, unfortunately, Alderman Evans wasn't able to be here due to his family emergency, as we all know. And also, Alderman Goodwin had an additional amendment, which we held off on. So I think it makes sense at this time to postpone this, to defer it until 2 weeks from now. It's when we can all come back together and look at this again and do those few final adjustments that we have to do, knock it out and get it approved and make sure it's done right. So with that, I make a motion that we defer.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second from Alderman Martin. Any discussion on that? I'm not gonna bring it up again. You know how I feel. Any, except this, Alderman Goodwin, did you have something else, or did you knock it out? You're good? Okay. Alderman Robertson.
But Mayor, you have outlined a way that we can continue to modify this going forward. So with that understanding that it can continue to be modified, I think you're right. I think we need to move forward and get in compliance as much as we can. So, thank you.
Alderman Robertson, thank you. Alderman Collins.
What is an example of where we are out of compliance with state law?
Can you help us, Jason? Yeah, without telling the rest of the world?
Right. Yeah, we're gonna end up flaying ourselves on that one. So the state of Tennessee has a paternity leave law. Nowhere in our current policy does that even exist.
How long have we been out of compliance?
Since that law came out, I couldn't tell you the date, I'd have to go back and look, but since I started 4 years ago, it was never in there.
So 2 more years is gonna kill it, 2 more weeks is gonna kill us?
It just,
Do we have anybody who's currently,
on paternity leave, we do.
yeah, okay.
So, and we're doing our best to stay up and be within the law, but our policies are not.
I just don't see how 2 more weeks is gonna matter. And one more question. Mayor Clary, you just said if it was more important change, it would be an ordinance. What is an example? The way this reads to me, we do not amend it by ordinance. We amend it by resolution, reading it twice.
I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. You're right.
Okay. So 2 more weeks to get it as close to right as we can, or we start over with amendments, 6 weeks to amend it. We've been out of compliance with the paternity leave policy for nobody even knows how long. It does not feel urgent to me. Thank you.
Appreciate that. So all those in favor of the deferral, press the green button. Those opposed, press the red. Missing one. So that fails 4-8. Those in favor, Alderman Bergdorf, Martin, Sassy, and Collins. Those against, Alderman Skidmore, Ward, Garza, Dixon, Goodwin, Garten, Robertson, and myself. Thank you all. So now we're back on the main motion, and that is multiple amendments. And this is second reading of ordinance 2026-01. Any other discussion? All those in favor, press the green button. Those opposed, press the red. 2 more. So that passes 10-2. Those voting in favor, Alderman Bergdorf, Ward, Martin, Garza, Alderman Dixon, Goodwin, Garden, Collins, Robertson, and myself. Those voting against, Alderman Skidmore and Alderman Sassy. Thank you all. Next, we're to brief committee reports, and Alderman Martin brought up something that I think is worth mentioning. Alderman Martin, would you like to make a motion? Would you like to amend the agenda?
I just wanted to.
Oh, sorry.
I've got planning commission report,
Okay.
so after Bob goes.
Sure. Okay, so we need a motion to amend our agenda to include the planning commission report, because it's not currently on the agenda. So Alderman Martin makes a motion, Alderman Garten seconds that. It requires a 2/3 vote, which would be 8 of us. So all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no.
No.
No. Jason, can you help us out here? Because it's 2/3, we're going to put this. Thank you. All those in favor of amending the agenda, press the green button. Those opposed, press the red. Oh, sorry.
Skidmore's voting no on everything.
Alderman Collins, Alderman Skidmore. Okay.
Oh, did I not vote? I'm sorry. Is that right?
Yeah, we're still waiting on you.
Goodness.
So that passes 11-1. Those voting in favor, everybody. Those voting against, Alderman Skidmore. First we need to have our general committee report from Chairman Garza.
All right, thank you. We met tonight. Two of the things on.
Microphone. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, we met this evening, and two of the things on our agenda were the renaming of the Riverwood Drive, which we waived the 2 week and it came, and that went good tonight. But the most important one was the resolution for Joe Skidmore after her 28 years of service. So outside of that, we've got a couple of things brewing. Procedures for canceling BOMA meetings is on our agenda, and that went with a positive recommendation of BOMA. And also discussion on paying certain board members on the table, but we're not giving them money, we're just doing it to open up the possibility it could be done. And that is going to BOMA with a neutral recommendation, and that's General Committee.
Chairman Garza, thank you. Alderman Martin, Planning Commission.
Thank you, Mayor. We met last Tuesday and had a pretty brief meeting. On the consent agenda, we had Forest Park Phase 5. That's located at 1685 Saundersville Road. That was approved unanimously. Site plans that we reviewed was the Rogers Group, the Hendersonville shop. We gave them two variances. One was they could use metal siding. It was in kind of an industrial type area, so we were okay with that. The second one, they asked for a waiver to not have to build a greenway, which they had promised that they would do. We looked at it, and the greenway located there just did not make sense. So what we did was we are allowing them to pay us in lieu of building that, and then we're going to give that back to Parks to use for other higher priority greenway projects or something else that they might want to use it for. Another project we looked at was Windstar Bay. This is a property that was asking for an easement to build over it. There was a letter from the HOA that said they were okay with it. It's located at 107 Fair Lake Court, and with that HOA letter, we were comfortable voting it to grant that variance on the easement. And staff level projects that were approved, Christ Methodist Church office parking and sidewalk, 103 Maple Drive. Freehill Business Park, final plat, and that's at 157 Molly Walton Drive. Meadows of Indian Lake, the final plat at 344 and 342 Rain Tree Drive. And the YMCA Pavilion Edition site plan located at 102 Bluegrass Commons Boulevard. Staff level projects that are pending, CL Powell Edition, lot 17 and 18, located at 134 Powell Drive. Hendersonville Business Park, located at 100 New Shackle Island Road. Maple Row Subdivision final plat, located at 105 Maple Row Boulevard. Stonecrest Phase 5, it's an elevation amendment and site plan that's located at 1351 Saundersville Road. And then W.A. Shivel Addition, lots 1, 2, and 3. It's a final plat for consolidating or dividing up a large plot from 1 into 3. That's located at 134 Shivel Drive. Planning Director Free was out, so Assistant Director Timothy Witten gave us an update on the Chick-fil-A and how great it looks. And we talked a little bit about the new Westlake Gateway sign and the progress of that. And that concludes my report.
Alderman Martin, thank you. Jesse, BOMA report.
Thank you, Alderman Martin. I think we are, at least at City Hall, trying to call that Chick-fil-A Chick-fil-B instead of Chick-fil-A because now there's two in town. Gabe, if you wouldn't mind coming up. I didn't tell Gabe he was going to have a report to do tonight, but I at least wanted to introduce Gabe and get him on the camera tonight. Mr. Gabe Hanna is HFD's new Assistant Fire Chief. Gabe has done a great job. He was a division chief for many years and has worked up through the ranks at HFD, and we're really excited for both Chief Edwards and Chief Hanna to be in the leadership roles. And we just continue to hear really good things, even after Gabe's announcement. Just unsolicited information came to me that says it was a really positive move for the fire department. So we're excited, and congratulations, and you get to attend more meetings with us now, too.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Thanks. Appreciate it. Okay, before we get into the report, I want to give you guys an update on the limbs from the Winter Storm Fern. We are up to almost $2 million in costs on cleaning up Winter Storm Fern. We have over 95,000 cubic yards we've collected, which is about 3,000 loads that between us and our contractors have collected and brought into the city landfill. There's over 2,000 hanging limbs or compromised tree limbs that were cut. That work's been done, and we estimate that we will probably have our contractors out by next week, sometime next week. So we're still looking around that mid-March. So if anyone's listening and have limbs to pull out, do that, because our contractors likely will be heading out by the end of next week. I also want to remind you too, we have our own in-house traffic engineer and our traffic technician. So if there's areas of town that you see are experiencing somewhat of a malfunction, please let us know. Just email me or Stephen. I know Mayor Clary and I have recently been engaging Stephen about Saunders Ferry when you're coming out Saunders Ferry onto Main. Now there's construction going on Walton Ferry. So that's something in-house where our traffic engineer could look at, hey, during construction times, you might change the signal timing. Or when there's construction activity, a detection piece gets hit and gets knocked out. So please don't hesitate to let us know. We're continuing to look at some of the areas that are frustrating for drivers. The citywide LED project is underway. We're about 12% complete with that. There's been 285 lights that have been retrofitted to LED, and we expect to be completed mid-summer. So you'll just start to see the colors of the lights start to change throughout the city. It's a big project, so yeah. Anyway, so about 300 lights have been done, but we expect to have that done around mid-summer. Update on Drakes Creek and Stop 30. HUD is doing the waterline relocation on that project. So they're probably going to get mobilized this week, maybe next week. Most of the work is going to be to the east of Drakes Creek, so there won't be lane closures for most of the work. But we will be putting social media out. There are times where HUD has to get into the street to do the water line. So we'll probably do a full road closure and then do a detour to Arrowhead and Spear Point at that point in time.
Alderman Robertson, hold on. Go ahead.
Will they not be during school hours? We want to not have a one lane during school hours.
Yeah, we're going to try to not have a one lane at all. So if it is there's an area where we have to be in the lane, we'll probably do a full road closure and detour around rather than go down to one lane in that area. It's possible that work could be after the school is out for the summer, but likely it'll be towards the end of the school year. And so in talking with HPD on traffic and our engineer, it's probably best to just close that section and reroute around Arrowhead and Spear Point, because otherwise it has to go down to one lane.
With the school system on that? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we've been in communication with the contractor and with HUD because they're doing that work, so we'll continue to push out messages on that, and we contact the school department to work with their bus transportation system to let them know what's going on. All right, we will go through this report. It's updated since last month, so if you go to page 198, you will see that sales tax is up slightly, just north of inflation, and interest earnings continue to do good, surpassing projections. We earned $120,000 in January. If you go to page 199, you'll see that combined permit and sales tax revenue is slightly down from the previous year, about 0.5%, but still staying relatively consistent with what we did last year. Our operating expenditures, also on the same page, it's that graph below, are up 5.18% from last year. We kind of expected to see that just with the increases in employees and just costs going up. If you go to page 200 through 201, that's the PIP fund. Collections are still coming in strong. Again, like we mentioned, a significant portion of revenue and expenditures are related to the Heritage Park project, so we won't see those, either revenue or expenditure, until we actually kick off that project. Page 202 to 203, public safety calls for service were elevated in January in response to the winter storm Fern, but February ticked down to pretty normal numbers. PD has over 45,000 calls, and HFD had almost 6,000 calls. If you go to page 204, you'll see residential activity is still down compared to last year. It's really kind of the story there. Page 206, we get into the parks activities. Of note is that we have a special needs egg hunt at Mary's Magical Place, March 26th. So Mary's Magical Place will be closed on the afternoon of March 26th for that special needs egg hunt. But a lot of activity in parks for the month of March as it's kind of ramping back up. Page 208 shows public works activity. Stormwater projects are getting kind of near our budgeted expectation for the year, and then we will start to see paving really tick back up as Rogers, I believe, is opening up their plant within a couple weeks, so we'll be back out on the streets paving, so we'll start to see paving and lane miles really tick up probably in the next report and the next report after that. And then page 209, we still see that vacancies are remaining extremely low in both police and fire, so great news for our public safety departments. And that concludes my report.
Alderman Skidmore has a question for you, Jesse.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to make a couple of points. One, I appreciate you all looking at Saunders Ferry Road because it was really backed up, and it could have been a multiple of reasons. One, because of Walton Ferry Road, and a lot of people are going that way, but I just want to let the folks out there know that this board, the mayor's office, Public Works, and this whole board is committed to trying to relieve our traffic as best as we can, and as what's good for the city of Hendersonville and its constituency. So we just want to let the folks out there know, and to please just have patience with us because we've got a lot of projects that are in the wheel, and I appreciate y'all looking at Saunders Ferry Road because it was tremendously backed up, and it could be it could be the timing. I know there was a guy that was out there looking at it the other day, and I appreciate that. Had several calls on that, and there was one other thing. Oh yeah, about tree limbs. I'm still getting a lot of, and I'm glad to know that about the tree service. And could you tell us one more time and the public about the guys are going to be the other, I mean, not the city guys, but the other guys we've got working. They're going to be out in the city doing or picking up for what, another week? Is that correct?
Approximately one more week.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So that means that to try to get the limbs out, one more shot at them.
That's right.
Before our city takes back over. Okay, thank you, and thank you, Mayor.
Alderman Skidmore, thank you. Alderman Sassy, did you have a question for Jesse?
You probably mentioned this, but if you could just say it one more time for the Stop 30 construction, when do you expect to begin to break ground on that?
Well, the utility relocation is happening. Yeah. It's already happened for the gas company. The water line company, HUD, is going to be doing that. They will probably break ground maybe next week. They will probably take 2 to 3 months to complete that section of the work, the utility relocation. At that time, the city would be able to start construction. We are still waiting on permits from, I think, the Army Corps and TDEC. So until we get those back, we can't go out to bid. So we're closing on the final piece of property, I don't really see any hiccups with that, so we are working through some of the final permitting issues. Hopefully, we can dovetail as soon as HUD's done with the water relocation, we can go out to bid, but I don't have a start date yet for when we'll be actually widening the road.
Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Alderman Sassy. Alderman Skidmore, I appreciate what you said earlier about your time on the board and about your mother, so my reply is, happy birthday, Mom, tomorrow. Alderman Dixon, do you have a motion? We have a motion to adjourn from Alderman Dixon and a second from Alderman Gooden. All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Thank you all.